Welcome to KTV's production of the 1996 Western Border League Grand Final from Vansittart Park here in Mount Gambier as the Hamilton Magpies make their way onto the arena, about to burst through the banner, led by Captain Coach Wayne Riddle. The Maggies have hit the turf at Vansittart Park, KTV's production of the 1996 Western Border League Grand Final. We await the arrival of the South Gambier Demons, and co-commentator with me this afternoon, none other than David Case. Welcome, David.
Good afternoon, Jim. How are you? And the scene set here today for the classic grand final clash between what I would call the two super heavyweights of Western Border League in 1996, Hamilton and South Gambier, with perhaps South Gambier having the better record during the year, but when it comes down to this last day in September, anything can happen. And Jim, I really believe that at the end of the day we will see South Gambier in front.
David Case selects South Gambier. Demon supporters sitting back watching the KTV replay, the telecast, the video. Will be interested in that prediction from David. The Hamilton Magpies, as they do their warm-up lap on the outer side of the ground, are about to go past the scoreboard now, will certainly have a big say in whether David's prediction is right or not. There's the umpires out there. Umpires for today's game, Craig McAllister and Kevin Farley, the central umpires. The Demons are on the turf. They're about to break through their banner. This year, just do it. It reads 1996, and Kevin Harris about to lead the boys through the banner. The Demons have come to play. It's South Gambier crashing through the banner now. Just do it in 96. The Hamilton Magpies are already on the turf. The Demons break the banner and do their warm-ups, and shortly we'll be back with the start of this KTV production, the Western Border League Grand Final for 1996. The toss about to take place, Greg Stevens and Kevin Harris. Greg Stevens in the black and white for the Hamilton Magpies, Kevin Harris the veteran, both veterans for the South Gambier Demons. Harris wins the toss. He's going left of screen, slight wind advantage, breeze mainly across the ground, slight wind advantage for the South Gambier Demons in this, the opening, what will be the opening term of the grand final for 1996. Before we have that though, we'll have the traditional playing of the national anthem. The umpires making their way over. There's Peter Sims on screen, about to give last-minute instructions to the South Gambier Demon players. The umpires lining up, the officials in the foreground there. As the Hamilton team make their way over right of screen, the Demons will come from left of screen for lining up for the traditional playing of the national anthem. David Case's selection, South Gambier. My selection, also the Demons, which puts a lot of pressure on them, David, the way I've been tipping, I'll tell you.
You and I both agree on something, for one, is a rarity anyway, Jim, and perhaps it does put their blockers on South Gambier, but let's hope for Peter Sims' sake that we're perhaps correct. But don't you write off the Hamilton Magpies when you have two Riddle boys playing, Jim, who have been around Western Border League for a long time, and both are very, very big-time players.
The Demons have been here before, 95 and 94. 94, they won it against a team they're opposed to today, South Gambier Demons. As we await the playing of Advance Australia Fair.
After the national anthem, South Gambier won the toss.
The formalities are over. Western Border League Grand Final 96 about to get underway. Both teams breaking the last-minute huddles, and Peter Sims in the foreground leaves his side. He's done as much as he can do. Now the players must perform in order to get glory in 96 in Western Border League footy. Umpires today, Farley and McAllister, the two centrals. And both very, very experienced and very qualified umpires. There's a shot of the Hamilton Magpies, the black and whites. And certainly Coach Wayne Riddle, he was part of that Imperial side that thrashed South Gambier last year. And if anyone knows how to beat them, David Case, I guess Wayne Riddle would.
Yes, I agree totally. He would obviously have learned a bit from Imperial's premiership last year, and no doubt his first stint as coaching, he will take that experience from Mickey Edmonds into this game, and perhaps we will perhaps see some different tactics, perhaps some different matchups than what we've seen during the year. And we'll just have to wait now and see which coach can gain the ascendant very early in the game. So Peter Sims, of course, Jim, having the advantage of being able to sit back and watch the game a bit, where Riddle will have be on the ground and will have to perhaps rely on his bench strength of his co-selectors.
You're watching KTV's production of the 1996 Western Border League Grand Final from Vansittart Park here in Mount Gambier. Proceedings about to get underway. Beautiful sunny day. Wind going across to the scoreboard side in the background, slightly to left of screen. And although in the other game scoring was done at both ends, so that shouldn't be a real problem. Defensive side is that scoreboard side. And we're about to get underway. Western Border League Grand Final for 1996, courtesy of KTV Sports. Okay, Craig McAllister gets the all clear from the captains, holds the ball aloft, and we are about to get underway. It's action time. KTV Sport 1996 Western Border League Grand Final. We are underway. Ryan goes high for South Gambier. Ball comes into the huddle. There'll be a ball up very early on, as no one can get a clear break from that one. Michael Pollock is 24 for Hamilton. Number 19, Adam Salmon, getting off the ground slowly, as is the captain coach of Hamilton, Wayne Riddle. Number 25, Martin Lilburn in the background. Number 16 for Hamilton is Brendan Lang, played in the premiership for Imperials last year against the South Gambier Demons. First chance for number 7, Rook, who's on the ball, comes loose. Here's Dagger Harris. Some doubt about him playing because of injury. Ball wobbles into the centre. No one's got a decisive kick so far, and the umpire again, this time Kevin Farley, says, I'll call it a draw, and we'll have a bounce almost directly in the centre again. The Demons and the Magpies. Western Border League Grand Final for 96. High bounce. Ryan, best and fairest winner in the competition, gets it down, and immediately the Demons go forward. A chance for Sims. Ball just falls short of him. Coming in to support that time, Mullen, and putting a foot in maybe, and the free kick will go to Hamilton. Number 22 back there is Tim Kameen. Long kick, Kameen, grandstand side, leap from behind, a good mark in front that time by Hamilton's number 26, and that's Justin McCarthy, long towards half forward. Chance this time for Hoof, who comes out hard. The ball comes back onto the ground. It'll be thrown in. Graham Woods, in fact, it was for Hamilton, and the throw-in will take place just on the half-forward side of the ground for the Hamilton Maggies. Going into attack, going to the right of screen. Ryan and Hoof opposed. Mick Ryan, handball to no one. This is Pollock. Kick on the left foot towards full forward. Glynn getting back hard on him. Number 8 that time was Colin Riddle. Goes to the boundary line, and a throw in to take place deep in the right forward pocket for the Hamilton Magpies. David Case.
Very windy conditions here at Vansittart Park. It's deep into Hamilton's attack. Ryan and Hoof will no doubt do battle. If again Riddle's in front, then gets his hand to the ball. South Gambier crash their way through the pack, and as does Hamilton. Comes out to Pollock. First score of the game, and the first goal of the game scored by Michael Pollock from a very good snap from out of the pack. And Hamilton have come out, Jim, and scored the first goal. Perhaps against the flow of the play, because South were at the footy very hard early, but the ball's gone down the first opportunity, and Hamilton have kicked the first goal of the 1996 Western Border Grand Final.
Well, David, I dare say that have put shivers down the spine of South Gambier fans and players, because it's a little bit reminiscent of last year when Imps were very quickly out of the block, and Hamilton have got the first one to start. 1-0 at the start of this, the first quarter.
I do believe that is the favourite end down there, Jim. Kevin Farley to bring the ball. Hoof gets his big fist to it, knocks the ball down clear towards the centre of the ground here. Players ball in over top of the ball, and once again umpire Craig McAllister will bounce the ball. Young Johnny Hoof's getting a big run up, Jim. It looks as though he's planned to try and jump over the top of Mick Ryan. He won't hassle with him. Patzel gets the ball now for South Gambier. He kicks the ball wide towards where Harris is leading for the race of the ball there, but the wind has taken the ball over the boundary line over on South Gambier's far half forward flank. Just both sides look a little bit tentative, Jim, but I no doubt as the game settles down, we'll see a fine brand of
Breeze
football.
seems to have sprung up, Dave.
Yes, it certainly has. Very swirly here at the moment, Jim. Umpire puts the ball back into play again. Players crash their way through the pack. Good tackle by Molly Patzel there from South Gambier. Ball in there in dispute. Players throw their body recklessly in, and once again, umpire McAllister will come in and bounce the ball.
Bounce down just right half forward flank outside the 50-metre arc. Craig McAllister to start us again. The Hamilton Magpies have a goal on the board courtesy of Michael Pollock. The Demons desperately wanting to get an opening score. Ryan takes it out of the air but can't break clear. Pushing it back. No, not paid. Stacks on the Miller. Comes loose this time. South Gambier work it out towards Mark Winterfield. He can't gather. Finally it's South again coming back on the left foot through... Maybe Harris that time. No. Salmon goes high. Good mark, Adam Salmon, the vice-captain. And the number 19 has got the ball. Plays on immediately. Kicks in short. Hamilton will tidy up in defence. Back in towards the centre. McCarthy makes a charge on it for the Magpies. Coming loose through the centre. Demons will have to tackle hard. They do. Comes loose to Hando. Hando hand pass going wide this time. The Magpies about to go forward. Get it on very nicely. Here's the captain, Coach Riddle, as a receive from Crow. Riddle is long from that right half forward flank and sitting underneath it. Back in the pocket. Andrew Gill has got the ball this time for the Maggies. And very good movement of the ball and a beautiful kick into position. Hando got it out initially. The ball went to Riddle, and Riddle's beautiful long kick found Gill deep in that forward pocket. He hugged it low into the breeze, did Riddle. That's experience. Difficult angle for Andrew Gill. Will he check side it? He attempts. He's kicked it very well, I suspect. That's a very good attempt. And David Gill gets the second one. Rather, yes, Andrew Gill, in fact, it is. Andrew Gill gets the second, and the Maggies are away well. They're 2 goals straight, and the Demons yet to score.
Hamilton have certainly settled down a lot quicker than what South Gambier has. And I just reckon, Jim, that maybe at this stage, it's only very early though. Let's not forget that. But the swirly conditions has sort of suited Hamilton at this very early stage. But 2 goals is nothing in the grand final, and no doubt South Gambier haven't been the top position all year, and they will definitely fight back. There's no doubt about that.
Well, waiting for the ball to get back. A lovely kick from Gill deep in that forward pocket for the Magpies. Has put the ball out of the ground, but now we have it transferred back through the boundary. Umpires scoreboard reading Hamilton 2 straight 12. The Demons yet to score. Demons, you need to do something quickly. You have the slight wind advantage, although, as we said, it is blowing across the ground slightly to the left of screen. Craig McAllister to bounce down again. Ryan and Hoof. To gallant ruckman. The medalist wins it this time. Coming to ground, chance this time. Sims goes back in after it. Nicely played. Got the hand pass out to hand. A kick back on the left foot is taken this time by Crow. Long ball inside with the hand pass to number 16 running down. Brendan Lang got it off this time. Well done, Hando. Right foot kick is centering. McCarthy's underneath it. Yes, he's paid it. And Wayne Glynn not happy with the call. Craig McAllister right there. Get your call on that one, David Case.
Well, Jim, I don't know, but I thought that Glennie had his hands in the air. He couldn't do much. He had to contest the ball, but the rules state you can't hit a player front on, but I do believe that Wayne Glynn was a little bit stiff there, but the umpire was in a far better position than what you or I were, Jim, and by gee, I tell you what, if McCarthy kicks this goal, that'll give Hamilton a 3-goal buffer.
Oh, shocker by McCarthy into the face of that breeze from where he kicked it. South get a chance to tidy up. They do through Capewell. Kick it wide, taken down after he kicked it was Lee Capewell. Advantage played? No, you'll have to bring it back. And the D through Mark Winterfield about to break loose, but it'll come back to Lee Capewell. Leroy will kick now to the defensive side of the ground. Not a bad move for the Demons. Sitting out here is Glenn. Glenn will go with the foot this time up towards that scoreboard wing. Running hard is Michael Mullen. And a free kick down the ground as they are getting very physical, Hamilton. And maybe that's not a bad idea either, but Michael Mullen will take the kick. Relayed free kick, just short of that scoreboard on the other side. Michael Mullen poled very well in the middle, David.
Yes, done very well. Had a fantastic year in the centre for South Gambier. Here's another player that's a very vital player for South Gambier, Duncan McGregor. Turns on his left foot now, Jim. Drives it over the 50-minute mark. Darren Sims gets his hands on the ball. South Gambier with a quick handball. But once again, here's Johnny Rook. He gets the ball through. South Gambier through numbers. Kevin Harris, the Ox. He won't miss this one, Jim. And the first score on the board for South Gambier is kicked for a goal by the captain himself, Kevin the Ox Harris. And that was very well done by South Gambier. Darren Sims' contest in the middle of the pack was very vital. He got the ball to the ground. Harris went onto a loose ball and kicked a beautiful left-foot goal.
Caught it well, David. Big leap, Darren Sims, and the Crummers were able to pick it up for South Gambier.
And Graham Woods should really take some responsibility. That down-the-field free kick was absolutely ridiculous free kick to be given down the field, and then consequently, Hamilton goes, South Gambier got a goal.
The D's make them pay. Craig McAllister starts again. Ryan in ruck, gets tapped down, goes towards that outer side, coming through hard that time. Number 26 was Justin McCarthy again. It races towards that outer side of the ground. Duncan McGregor leading well out there, close to the boundary line, and it beats Duncan over the line for a throw-in on that outer side wing position. Boundary umpire Andrew Wilson to put us back into play. Number 2 on screen, Wayne Riddle, behind Mick Ryan Hoof comes late. Riddle actually probably got a palm. Ryan probably most to Harris. Long kick towards half forward. Behind the pack, no one can gather. This time, Kevin Harris, loose ball. Second goal for the Ox in the opening quarter. It's good, all right, David. Big kick from Kevin Harris. He gets his second. And as you called it, a couple of goals, nothing in a grand final, because suddenly the Demons hit back and level the scores.
And Kevin Harris, Jim, how many times have we seen Kevin Harris do this? He's just a wonderful opportunist, beautifully balanced player, and that goal there was typical of Kevin Harris. I don't know how many times we would have seen that in Western Border footy over the last few years, and he is definitely an inspirational leader and a key player in South Gambia's quest for this premiership.
Strong body work by Kevin Harris. The ball came loose and he did the rest. The Ox is on fire to start with. Kevin Farley gets a bounce. There'll be a centre square infringement against Hamilton. Gee, that's a giveaway. And a 50-metre penalty against Johnny Hoof. Not giving the ball cleanly to Mick Ryan, and that's technical, but I guess it's there, and Ryan will come down and have a shot for goal, David.
Well, Jimmy, that's Graham Woods on the outer wing, resulted in a goal. Hoofy hasn't given the ball back, and here we have Mick Ryan, and like, you just cannot do things in grand finals like that, particularly when a side like Hamilton had the run of the play, and now they've handed it back to South Gambier.
Mick Ryan shoots from 35, it hangs loose in the breeze, it'll drift right on the first minor score of the grand final is on the board. 2-1-13 South Gambier. 2 goals straight, 12 are the Hamilton Magpies. To bring it back into play, looks like McGinley back there for Hamilton. Long drop punt, covers plenty of metres in towards that centre square. From behind, Crow went high. Scrummers wanted. Hamilton try and work it out. Rather, Rook was in there. They fall on top of it, and umpire Kevin Farley will take a bounce. Just inside the 50-metre square, South Gambier attacking end of the ground. Ryan again with Hoof. They'll go at it all day, these two. Hit down by Hoof, taken by number 23, who's rode very well, Matty Templeton. Left footed down towards half forward, cleaned up by Mullen again, coming out of that back line. That's good defensive work. Gets inside and drives. Will try to drive long, and will get a free kick, a high tackle maybe. And the free kick will come back to Michael Mullen for South Gambier.
Mickey Mullen run very straight at the ball there, Jim, didn't he? He just didn't take his eye off the ball, and consequently got the free kick.
And that's what they're getting. They're getting every advantage because they're going for the ball hard, and they're getting there first. Mullen chips in short to Duncan McGregor, who'll come on that left foot. I can actually guarantee you this. There he goes. Bang, low into that breeze. Mark taken out. A good grab taken by number 2 that time, Richard Attawell for the Demons. And maybe a 50, no. The boot came in late. The umpire lets it go. Interesting. Attawell got very close to the man on the mark. Decides to come back and kick from outside 50, long on that northern goal. Sims getting underneath it, went one-handed. Crummers wanted almost a chance for South Gambier. They went without it. Finally, it's bottled up by the D's. They try and work it out. Sims got it to Brian Harris. Left foot snap. Brian Harris is floating on goal. It'll come off hands and through for 1 point. A free kick has been picked out. Kevin Farley's picked the free kick out here against Michael Pollock. And it will go to Darren Sims. Or will it? No, I think it's Paul Mullen in that forward pocket. Deep in that right forward pocket. Well, there's another one the D's are going to get from the charity line. Interesting attempt is not good. Through for 1 point. Second point of the grand final. 2-2-14 South Gambier on KTV's production of the Western Border League grand final. The Hamilton Magpies 2 goals straight, 12. 2-point lead to the Demons. And the umpiring right on it at the moment. Number 22 to bring it back for Hamilton, Timmy Kameen, in fact, comes grandstand side, kicks outside 50. Big leap from Rook in front, should be paid, and is. Good mark, hand passed on, intercepted by, it looks like Winterfield that time. Sims, in fact, long back towards the full forward position. From behind, it's taken by Mullen. Paul Mullen robbles it towards goal. It'll be offline. He'll get his second point of the grand final. 2-3-15 South Gambier, 2 straight Hamilton.
The game's just turned a little bit, Jim. A couple of those undisciplined free kicks, and here we have a bad kick out by Hamilton, which still allows Pollock in with the ball. Pollock playing the ball and playing done particularly well, Pollock. A very good effort, but a great tackle there by Dagger Harris. He gets up off his feet, has a shot for goal, but unfortunately for Dagger, it's only through for 1 point, but a really good effort by Dagger Harris there, Jim. He really did chase the ball down very hard, but Hamilton just seems to have lost some momentum a little bit, Jim. I think that maybe I shouldn't hark back to those couple of 50-metre penalties. Just might have unsettled them just that little bit.
Kick in by Kameen again, number 22. Under siege at the middle minute, Hamilton. 2-3 plays, 2 straight. From behind, Rook goes high. Big grab again by Dion Rook. The hand pass, as before, goes nowhere. Pollock will tidy up for him. finally forced to come with the hand pass. They work it nicely out through Brendan Lang. Finally back to Crow. Crow gives it on to 23, who's Templeton. Templeton kicks towards half forward. Ryan's in the way, and they predicted that one. Read it very well to the Demon defence. Ryan getting back to help. Goes defensive side of the ground. Long kick. Sitting under it out here, South Gambier. Plenty of room. Running player inside that time was Justin. No, it wasn't. It was
Justin
in
Munro,
fact
Jim,
number 34, who's not in the book. Ball tipped over the top again. You pick him out, David, if you can.
Justin Munro. Jim,
Munro it was.
Another ex-Casterton boy.
Comes to the ground. Here's the chance that time for, they'll tidy up back there, will the Hamilton Maggies through Timmy Kameen. Kameen with the hand pass over the top goes to, looks like McGinley. McGinley's in all sorts of trouble, comes back on it hard. Can't get his kick in. Good tackle from behind that time by Paul Mullen. Finally, the Pies work it clear towards that outer side scoreboard flank. From behind, the punch by number 21, David Chant. Finally, they work it out again. Here's Mullen. Got it back towards, it was McGregor. Long kick to half forward. In fact, he'll come back and take a free kick. Duncan McGregor for too high. Never going to be down the ground, but the tackle on McGregor too high, and the left footer will kick the Demons into attack. They lead 2-3 to the Magpies, 2 goals.
South Gambier getting back behind the footy very well, Jim, getting numbers back behind the ball and consequently running off in numbers and creating a lot of run through the middle of the ground here at Vansittart Park. High in towards Darren Sims, gets his hands on it. McGinley for Hamilton gets it out, but there's the big medalist in Mick Ryan. Lovely hands across to Wayne Glenn, one of the veterans of the South Gambier side. His kick comes towards Richie Adderall. Dagger Harris is in there for South Gambier as well. Adderall gets his hand to the ball and keeps it into play, but unfortunately for Richie, the ball goes over and out of bounds, right deep in the left-hand forward pocket here for South Gambier.
Good shot of the crowd, David. It has built up. Not a record by any means, but a good solid crowd for the Western Border League Grand Final.
Boundary umpire brings the ball back in. Darren Sims there for South Gambier. Through comes number 6 and Ashley Crow. He's doing a lot of big body work back there. Brian McGinley gets the ball clear. Comes out to Hamilton out here. They clear the ball now off their half-back line. Coming towards where the half-forward line is. Andrew Gill had a chance. Him we come in here, and Justin McCarthy, the long-haired lad, has a shot for goal. He's 45 metres out, but unfortunately he bends the ball around and just misses to the right-hand side of the goalpost. And Hamilton score their first point, and they currently trail South Gambier 2-3 to 2-1.
Yeah,
on
good
the
defensive
Park
stuff in the end
scoreboard.
by South. Putting the pressure on. Capewell will bring it back. Grandstand side. Lovely long kick by that player, Lee Capewell, out there. Number 21, almost David Chunt. No, it wasn't. Might have been, in fact, Michael Sims out that side of the ground. And the throw-in will take place. KTV's production of the 1996 Western Border League Grand Final from Vansittart Park here in Mount Gambier. Boundary umpire Wilson, nice high throw-in, up they go. Hoof from behind Ryan. Wayne Riddle runs onto the ball. Boundary line looms. Working hard, Michael Sims in there, finally comes loose, and we'll have another boundary throw-in a little further around towards the scoreboard side, rather towards the scoreboard on the outer side of the ground.
Jim, the game's just petered out a little bit, the pace gone off it a little bit.
Wind's a bit tricky, Dave, I think, to be fair too. A little bit hard to judge as Dagger Harris runs onto the knock from Ryan and drives inside 50. Sims does battle with Kameen. Knock on Sims. Harris is dangerous. They'll need to close him down. The hand pass came back to Sims. A long ball out here came to Patzel, and Patzel walks into an open goal, and the Demons' very good team goal.
Very good skills, Jim, and their South Gambier's half-back line now have started to dominate. Michael Mullen, Matty Fear, Glennie, and I noticed that Duncan McGregor's getting back there. Those players are running off that half-back line. Widderfield's another one, and they're creating play by getting the ball through the centre, and the forward line's so wide open that players like Harris, Patzel, Salmon are just running onto the ball at ease.
The Demons running players starting to get into it. They lead at 3-3-21 to 2-1-13 after the Magpies got the first two. Ryan to McGregor, and the D's go forward again. Harris onto the loose ball. He's causing lots of problems down there to Stephen Jewell. Hook towards Sims. Back to Harris. He'll receive the kick. The boundary line looms. Was he taken high? No. And finally the boundary umpire calls, I'll take the throw in, thank you very much. Boundary umpire Walter from the Western Districts. The Demons looking ominous. Sims does battle with Hoof. Over the top it went that time towards Dagger Harris. He received from Michael Sims. Hooks it back on the right foot. Sitting underneath it this time, Munro. And number 14, of course, Brian McGinley, ex-teammates from Casterton. And the ball will go over the line.
Two ex-Casterton boys. There's a bit of Casterton flavour in this grand final today because you've got Kameen and McGinley from Hamilton, and you've got Munro for South Gambier.
It was a point as a 3-4-22. The Demons, Hamilton 2-1-13.
The ball comes to the middle of the ground now with a contest where Matty Fear, Richie Adder was in there. Away from the ball comes Fear, across to Wayne Glenn. South Gambier have the numbers now through Mick Ryan, who's on his own on the outer wing here at Vansittart Park. A low kick towards Paul Mullen there, Jim, but unfortunately the boundary line won out and the ball's gone over. In front of the scoreboard reading South Gambier 3 goals 4, leading Hamilton 2 goals 1 at the 20-minute mark of the 1996 Western Border Grand Final. Boundary line throw in. Ryan and Hoof still at it in the boundary line throw in. Comes down to Salmon. A quick kicking towards the forward line here for South Gambier. Players at the drop of the ball. There's Hamilton in very hard over the top of it. Out comes the ball through, looks like Michael Sims, but unfortunately Michael's kick has just gone offline and dribbled over the boundary line to be thrown in by the boundary umpire here. Ready to get South Gambier's attacking forward pocket. The ball's thrown in. Darren Sims in there. Hamilton come over the top through Dion Rook and thump the ball a good 20 metres back over the boundary line, and the boundary umpire once again will have to put the ball back into play.
We must admit, David, South Gambier have the breeze advantage, what advantage there is, so I don't think the Maggies would be too worried just at the minute.
It's pretty easy to score from both ends, though, Jim. It's very swirly. The ball comes loose here towards Molly Patzel, who's had a lot of possessions in the first quarter, and young Patzel then just, unfortunately, just as he kicked, got pushed off balance, and the ball goes through for 1 point. So
Demons are 3-5-23. The Hamilton Magpies are 2-1-13.
They kick in once again by Kameen, straight down the middle of the ground. Oh, a huge leap by number 9 in David Hando. He's a fantastic player, Hando, a great on ball. He's kicked quickly towards centre half forward. The ball come loose at the back of the pack. Wayne Glynn read it better. A great tackle by Hamilton there in number 16 and Bretton Lang dragged him down. The ball comes free to number 11 from Hamilton in Jamie Stubbs, but his kick unfortunately is offline and goes through for 1 point. But Jim, I think young Stubbs' their vision was pretty ordinary, because Hamilton had Riddle in the goal square on his own, but unfortunately he didn't lift his head quickly enough, and consequently the ball missed the goals. The ball kicked in now towards Michael Mullen. Mullen then tries to elude Pollock, gets around his right foot, and a nice kick towards Matty Fear, perhaps one of the unsung heroes of South Gambier. Fear, a very good player. Onto that trusted left foot now, drives the ball down here towards centre wing. Players up, Rook, Ryan, the ball comes loose towards the ground here. South Gambier through number 21 in Michael Kruger, gets the ball wide, comes back to Dion Rook, a very class player. Here's Pollock, he's knocking up, getting kicks, Pollock. Comes across here now to LeBurn, he's got the ball now on his left foot, comes around the boundary line, gets the ball back towards Riddle and Glenn. Glenn in front spot though, a very good position, Wayne Glenn, and he will win the free kick. Wayne Glenn now will relieve the pressure for South Gambier.
Capewell, hand pass from Glynn, found Capewell. They work at grandstand side in front and taking a very comfortable mark. Matthew Patzel's already got a goal on the board, and his opponent, Matty Templeton, needs to be tight on him. Matthew Patzel favours left foot, hugs the boundary line in front of the grandstand for wind protection. Going high that time, Crow off his hands. Number 12, little contest there from Michael Sims, does enough. It goes over the boundary line for throw in. 2-2-14 the Magpies. The Demons are 3-5-23, and we're at the 21-minute mark of this, the first quarter. KTV production of the Western Border League Grand Final for 96. Tackled by Harris on Crow, and umpire McAllister, well, he has a sense of fair play, says, I'll bounce that, gentleman. In front of the grandstand, a good crowd in this afternoon, and Craig McAllister gets us underway. The Demons lead it by 9 points. Big leap from Hoof, came to the ground, picked up that time by Lilburn. The kick goes high towards half forward. McCarthy sitting under it. Big grab that time of defence by Fear.
Been a great player, Jim Fear.
Well, very, very strong. I know he's a boy who likes his weight work and does a lot of that in the off-season. Beautiful left foot kick to Glynn. The champ Glynn goes high and wide, not so handsome. Leading in the run for the ball out there was Michael Kruger, and it goes over the line in front of he and Ball Mullen. Throw in to take place. Of course, Kruger, an interleague player, so you'd expect a big performance from him in the grand final. 3-5 to 2-2. It's the Demons who lead it, and we go towards the 25-minute mark of this, the first term from Vansittart Park. Guess who? Ryan and Hoof to ground. Almost that time, Woods for Hamilton. Stack of players, finally they work it clear. Kruger towards McCarthy. Fear's wearing him like a glove, and off hands it goes over the line for a throw in. Both players wanting to umpire it, but Kevin Farley says, gentlemen, we will have the throw in. Half forward flank, left position for the Hamilton Magpies, who trail by 9 points. They go again. This time Woods joined in the fun. Comes loose. Good work. Templeton comes back on. No, in fact, 25 is Lilburn. They work it towards half forward. Good defensive mark that time. South Gambier, they're looking good. And there's Jason, I think Chant it was, David
yes.
Chant. Got it off the Fear. Work it well. Fear's forced to kick hurriedly, but very wide. Running for it out here, Patzel. Good grab. Read it very well. Templeton are loose on him. Left footer again will go long. In fact, he chips a little short, looking for Kevin Harris. The ball needs a good bounce. The Ox doesn't get it. Knocks on cleverly, but good defensive work. McGinley came to meet him and over the boundary line and out of bounds. Now, did McGinley play in Casterton's premiership?
Yes, he certainly did, Jim. Yes, both him and Timmy Kameen. So they're both ex-premiership players.
So some good experience there for
yes,
Hamilton.
Very much and so, Jim.
From the back, McGregor did it well. Nice knock. Here's Attawell, works inside. Hand pass comes to Munro. Munro fires on the northern goal, and it's just to the left and through for one behind. 3-6-24 the Demons, 2-2-14 South Gambier. I think Peter Sims would be happy if they could get another one, Dave.
Yes, he would be very happy indeed, Peter, I'd say, because those conditions out there are very, very windy and very swirly, Jim. And the ball comes out here now to Graham Woods. I think that's Woods' first touch. He takes a great mark outside the 50-metre mark here in the defence for Hamilton. Kicks the ball now down here towards the to the centre wing side. Crow's in position. Number 15 from South Gambier there, and Mark Winifred couldn't get his hands to the ball. Hamilton scrapped for the ball now, as does South Gambier, and Big Mick Ryan and Ashley Crow pick themselves up off the ground, and the umpire now will bounce the ball. Umpire Farley will bounce the ball now. Ryan and Hoof. Hoof gets his hand at the ball once again, but McGregor punches the ball beautifully wide. Woods is in there for Hamilton with the ball now. He will relieve the pressure for Hamilton and wobbles the ball around towards the outer wing, but the ball's still in play, and it comes back to Jason Hand for South Gambier at centre half forward. He will now most of the centre the ball looking for Sims, but I'm afraid to say that the players run over the mark, and umpire Farley has said that you cannot do that. The player wasn't called on, and it's a 50-metre penalty. The third one in the quarter against Hamilton. And the South Gambier player in Jason Hand will come down now, Jim, within 15 metres to shoot on goal. Yeah,
this is an easy one, and really the one Peter Sims' boys wanted, and Jason will kick this one, and I think Wayne Riddle might be doing a little bit of kicking at quarter time too. The number of 50s, as David called, have been given away, but this is a very vital kick.
But not only that too, Jim, they've given away the 50s, but they've been soft 50s too. They really haven't been much in them.
And the fourth goes on the board for South Gambier. They got a 4-goal 6-30. The Hamilton Pies at 2-2-14. And a very handy goal by Jason Hand, courtesy of a 50. And you just cannot afford to do that. Hamilton, of course, coming through the hard way through the semis and the prelim final. And if they give South Gambier a start, you would assume the quicker legs of South Gambier would stand them in good stead in the latter stages of this game. 4-6-2-2. Craig McAllister. We're into time on in the first quarter. Hoof got the knock. McCarthy makes a charge from centre half forward. They work it through, almost work it through. In fact, they do. Hamilton this time through number 11. That's Jamie Studds. Long ball in towards that half forward line, and the mark has been taken by Gill between the forward pocket and the half forward line. Now it's in a perfect position to kick this, David.
Well, he's already kicked one goal too, Jim, so...
We've got a very good camera angle on it. We'll just follow the ball off the boot. KTV's production of the Western Border League Grand Final for 1996. Andrew Gill, handy one for the Pies as we close on quarter time. There you get a shot of it. It's swinging back. It may have done enough. And Leroy Capewell couldn't get a hand on it. Wobbly kick off the boot by Andrew Gill. Great camera shot of it, wobbling through. The Demons' defence letting it go. Yes. Handy one for the Magpies just on quarter time. Yes,
a very important goal there for Hamilton, because South Gambier was starting to get that look in their eye where they could have perhaps kicked 2 or 3 late in time on here in the first quarter. But certainly a good steadying goal by Gill, and South worked the ball beautifully around. Hamilton worked the ball beautifully around this grandstand side here at Vansittart Park. Hoof and Darren Sims in the ruck now for South Gambier, giving Mick Ryan a bit of a spell, and there's been a free kick picked out of the pack, and Hamilton will relieve in the middle of the ground. They now get the ball and drive it deep into attack here very late in the last quarter. South Gambier have the numbers back. Through comes Capefield. Cape will try to get through. Attawell's in there with the ball. Nice left-handed handball. Comes out here to where Justin Munro gets the ball away. Number 16, and Brenton Lang's got the run of the ball here for Hamilton. He will relieve the pressure. Comes back to Pollock. Pollock can't quite get his hands to it. Comes through here now to Graham Woods. Woods' left-hand handball comes crossed out to McCarthy, but unfortunately the ball's smothered by David Chant, and the ball goes over the boundary line, and we're at the 28-minute mark now, Jim, and time running out for both sides here in the first quarter of the Western Border Grand Final.
Throw in deep on that outer side of the ground, a half-forward position for the Pies. They trail it by 10 points. Working it through very nicely, the D's that time towards half-forward. Dion Rook's got the best sit, and he gets the mark in front of Han. Rather sitting behind Han, chips away very nicely, and the Magpies will slow it down on that outer side. Kruger, I think, as he'll kick on the... No, in fact, it's not number 16 that time. Brendan Lang, of course, the premiership player last year with Imperials. Chips away, Dion Rook. Will he go? Called to play on. Long kick from Rook. Through that centre square, players up to ground. Runners wanted now. They work at fair. Rather, they do work at the field. Gets it on in turn. Hand pass out from Harris. Got to Adderwall. There's been a throw called, and it will go against South Gambier.
Nice
in the
tackle,
centre of the ground. It'll be taken by Brendan Lang again. Gets it off that time, and away come the Magpies towards this grandstand side. Running onto it here for the Hamilton side, that time doing it nicely. Hando to McGinley. McGinley through to half forward. In front is Fear, and Matty Fear's had a very big influence on this game. One of David Case's favourites. He's mentioned him in the call, and you can't help but miss him. Rather not miss him, because he's played such a great game already in this, the first quarter. Comes grandstand side, looking for Wayne Glynn. Hando went hard on Glynn, and he'll get a free kick. Good umpiring by Craig McAllister. Advantage not played, as Michael Sims wanted to escape with it, but Wayne Glynn. Right on the 30-minute mark of this, the first quarter, Glynn goes with a hand pass. That was optimistic. Put McGregor under a lot of pressure. Hando crashes through. Here's Riddle. Wayne Riddle, the captain coach. Hand passed on. Gill tries to bring... In fact, it wasn't Gill. It was number 25 in Lilburn. This time to number 5 in Jervis. Kicks it deep into the forward line, but there'll be a free kick down the ground. And that time, the discipline not with South Gambier. And it might be Gill again to kick for goal number 3.
Yes, Richard Adderwall there, unfortunately. I thought it was a bit soft, though, Jim. Like, the contact was so close to being... as the ball was being kicked, but yeah, but like as we said, we sit a long way away from the game, and I'm fairly sure that Kevin Farley would have seen that.
Andrew Gill kicks on that southern goal, and it looks pretty good, David Case. It is very good. And Gill, in fact, gets his second for the afternoon and missed the first quarter, and suddenly the margin is back to 4 points.
Andrew Gill's got 3 goals, Jim.
Three, in fact.
Three in this quarter.
Yep.
So he's done a very good job. He's been the answer to Kevin Harris's 2 goals for South Gambier at the other end. So not much in the game now, 4 points, and we're just about paid 30 minutes. So if each quarter's going to go 30 minutes, Jim, there's going to be some tired players there by the time they blow that final siren.
4-6-30, 4-2-26 as the Demons leading it by 5 points, and another centre square infringement. This time Hamilton will get it out of the centre. They work it to Pollock. Pollock's up and under kick, goes towards half forward. Sitting underneath it is this time Wayne Riddle, and he did it a little bit too easily on Wayne Glynn. And Riddle will kick them deep into attack, and this the first quarter. Could it be possible? Could the Maggies grab the lead? They got off to a great start, and South fought back. Chipping in short is Riddle, and that time reading it well was Dagger Harris. Brian Harris chipped in. Took the mark. Jervis couldn't do a lot about that one. The captain coach's pass wasn't a good one. Booted wide to Salmon. Salmon back on the left foot, comes inboard this time to Paul Mullen. Mullen under pressure, but he'll get his kick away from after Colin Riddle went after him. And Mullen towards half forward, looking for Kevin Harris. Beautifully weighted kick from Paul Mullen. And Harris will kick from way outside 50. Needs to move it quickly. Siren about to go. And chipping in and relieving the pressure, Brian McGinley for the Hamilton Magpies.
Brings his ball towards Riddle now. Riddle's got his hands on the ball but can't take the ball. Number 9 in David Hando gets over the ball now and brings it wide out here where Hamilton will relieve the pressure. And there's the siren, Jim, for quarter time in the 1996 Western Border Grand Final with South Gambier. 4 goals, 6-30, leading Hamilton 4 goals to 26 at Vansittart Park here in Mount Gambier.
We are underway in the second quarter. Quarter time score 4-7 to 4-2 in favour of the Demons. And Kevin Farley's bounce is good. Hoof gets the first knockdown. Running onto the ball that time for South Gambier's Mark Winterfield. They fall on top of it. Free kick picked out by Craig McAllister. And Michael Mullen puts some under the ground, but I think a bit of an act that time. And Michael Mullen comes out with the ball. And he'll put the Demons, who are going to the right of screen, into a very breeze that's more or less across the ground, but favouring slightly left of screen. So the Demons slightly into it. Dion Rook recovers well, got the ball to Crow. Crow on the right foot for the Hamilton Magpies towards that outer side, and a good grab out there by Templeton. And the Magpies looking confident. They're not overawed by this game at all. Comes on the left foot and boots in towards that half-forward line. From behind Mullen went the punch, came towards Pollock. He's grabbed by Ryan, and when he grabs you, you go nowhere, David Case, and we will have a ball up.
Pollock's been a very good player for Hamilton. He's got a lot of the footy and would be causing South Gambier a few headaches with his touches around the ground.
The ruck rover. Here's the medal winner. Ryan got the tap that time towards Patso. He couldn't quite take control. Mullen goes in for South Gambier. They fall on top of it again, and there will be a bounce up again by umpire Kevin Foley. 4-7, 4-2. Opening moments of the second quarter on KTV. Production of the Grand Final 96 in the Western Border League. Takan got at that time across to Glynn. In fact, it was Chant to Glynn. Towards this outer side of the ground, the runners are wanted. Adderall closing on Hando. Hando works very nicely around him, turned him inside out. The kick's a shocker, and it will go into that defensive forward pocket for South Gambier that time from Hando in the left forward pocket, the throw in to take place. And I guess if you're attacking, that's where Hamilton want it.
Yes, that's where they want the ball, Jim. There's no doubt about that.
The shot of the crowd. It's very good at that end. And a lot of interest being shown in the netball too. We'll give you a score on that as it comes to hand. Throw in high. Here goes Ryan. Didn't quite control the hit. Came to ground. Kicked by Pollock. Wobbles into the goal square. Sitting behind McCarthy. Takes a very well judged mark. And one of the few times he's been able to get away from Fear. The ball going over the head of Matty Fear. Lobbed in the arms of Jason McCarthy. Very nice kick from that man Pollock, as David called earlier. And McCarthy to give the Pies the lead. And he does. And we've played a minute in this, rather a minute and a half into this, the second quarter. And McCarthy gets his first, but it's good enough to give the Magpies a narrow lead in this grand final. 5-2, 4-7. The lead is now 1 point.
And Jim, I think the conditions are upsetting South Gambier a little bit. I don't think it's allowing them to, the swirly, windy conditions here at Vansittart Park haven't yet allowed South Gambier that free running game that they like to play. So
well, you look who's playing well for Hamilton. You've got Pollock playing well, you've got Hoof playing well, you've got Hando playing well. And they've now just moved Graham Woods into the centre, so their on-ball is probably on top at the minute, David.
And they're doing a very... And Johnny Hoof's getting his hand on the ball. He seems to be jumping over the top of Mick Ryan, but once again, Ryan's played a great game.
Bounce down into... Oh, goodness me, another centre square infringement, this time against Hamilton, and Mick Ryan will take the kick. Gee, that's unforgivable at this level, and a 50-metre penalty. And I think for running across the mark, I'm not certain, but I think if McCarthy may have run across the mark, or someone has for Hamilton. And here's another give-me goal. And Peter Sims would be delighted if Michael Ryan can kick this one. Mick, they need it to put the Demons back in front. Ryan from point-blank range, the kick is terrible. To the left, 1 point only. 4 goals 6, rather 4 goals 8, 32 South Gambier. 5-2, 32 Hamilton. We've got a tied game, David.
And Hamilton have kicked a lot better at goal than South Gambier. South Gambier had a couple of relatively easy shots, Jim, but haven't been able to convert, and Mick Ryan should have kicked that.
Oh, that was a shocker for the medalist. He really didn't give it a lot of time. It started left, and that's where it went with the help of the breeze. It was blowing across that way. He needed to start it right. Mullins kicks a good one. Harris sitting under it. Ox, they want this one. He can't quite grab it. Goes on after it again. Boundary line looming. In fact, it loomed a little too closely, and the freak, right, there'll be a throw in as they exchange pleasantries. Martin Lilburn and Kevin Harris. Jewel has been moved from Harris. Lilburn may be having the job. From behind, the jump was from Woods. They're doing that on Ryan quite a bit. Mullen, here's a chance, can't gather. Pollock again, hand pass inside, and they work it well. This is Woods, inside out, got it to wide to McGinley. The experienced McGinley towards grandstand side. Mick Ryan closes in. Will he be paid the mark? Touched off the boot. Won't get it for in the back either. And we will have a ball up. The South Gambier fans not happy with it. It was touched off the boot. And I think Ryan heard the call because he tried to play on immediately. Craig McAllister starts us again. Grandstand side. Ryan got a fist to it. Big thumping punch towards Kevin Harris. Overruns it. Jewel is in fact still on him. It comes towards Salmon. He's taken out of the play. Ball rolls to the boundary line, and we will have a throw in deep on the right half forward flank between forward pocket and right half forward for the South Gambier Demons. The score's level, 4-8-32 the D's. Hamilton a 5-2-32. Sims takes ruck position. Dagger Harris couldn't get it. Adderall, good tackle on him. That time was from Hando. Comes back towards, I think it might have been Jewel, got it to Pollock. Tries to work inside. Geez, a good player, David.
He's an excellent
the kick smothered
player.
by Ryan. Took a little bit long that time. They wanted to go out, Hamilton. Finally, they do force it out that time to number 27, Stephen Jewell.
He's got very good evasive skills, Pollock, Jim, hasn't he? And certainly eludes his opposition. And once again, Huff and Mick Ryan here. They'll be at this all day, Jim, right to the final siren. Hamilton now will clear the ball. It comes out here. Fear's underneath the ball. Riddle's there, but too late, and comes over the top of Matty Fear. The ball held up on Riddle a bit. Fear will now look outward towards where Mick Mullen will have the set position here. Got his hands to the ball beautifully. Michael Sims comes through now with lovely skills, and Justin Munro in the box position here will get the free kick for in the back, and Munro will kick within, what, 48 metres from goal, but very good vision by young Michael Sims there, and Munro will have a shot on goal here. He elects now to play on, runs around the play, gets inside of 40 metres now, on his right foot, kicks towards the goals, and it's a beautiful kick by Munro, Jim. Very good skills, run around the play, got onto his right foot, and put his leg right through the ball, and most players stood around. I don't really believe, Jim, they thought it was going to carry, but it snuck across the line, and South Gambier have their 5th goal on the board. They now lead the Hamilton Magpies 5 goals 8 to 5 goals 2 at the 5-minute mark of the 2nd quarter here at Vansittart Park in Mount Gambier.
It is a pure 6-point lead to the Demons, as David called it. 5-8, 5-2. Beautiful kick from Munro into that breeze, and from where he kicked it, it was into the breeze. Ryan goes with Hoof again. Nice knockdown. Hoof come to Woods. Woods will clear it to Colin Riddle. Riddle took a long time, finally loses it, and South will go forward again. Back towards half forward, sitting underneath it. Rook couldn't take a difficult one. Comes to Munro, feeds it wide. Salmon needs a good bounce, doesn't get it, but comes back on it well. Back to Munro, worked inside nicely. Look for Mullen. Cut off by the good defence that time of Jewell. Jewell goes back down on the footy and will get a free kick. No, holding the ball, if you don't mind, David.
Yeah, it's a bit unlucky there because they never really retarded him. Now they're going to give 50 metres, and that's very soft. Craig McAllister, that is very, very soft indeed, because the South Gambier player was trying to wrestle the ball from Stephen Jewell. All right, fair enough, he wasn't going to give it up, but Craig McAllister, you got sucked in good and proper, because there was no way was that a 50-metre penalty to South Gambier, but consequently, Adam Salmon has the ball 15 metres out. Doesn't matter what we think, but he should kick this goal and put South Gambier 2 goals in front. Oh, it's touched. Oh, Adam.
Well, we've seen Mick Ryan miss one, and Adam Salmon won't get an easy shot
when
in this
Adam
game.
looks at this on TV tonight, Jim, he will cringe when he sees just how easy that was, because his preparation for kicking the goal was very ordinary.
Adam, I suggest you fast forward that part of the tape every time you watch. KTV's production of the 1996 Grand Final, Vansittart Park at Stacks on the Mill again. Jewell on top of Munro. We will have a bounce. There's certain things in your life you don't want to remember, David, and I think for Adam Salmon that might be one. He'll look back in years to come, Adam. You may grin if you win it. If you lose it, you won't want to watch. To ground it come. McGinley works well. Under pressure. This is Salmon going hard again. Tackle. Did he have it? Yes, he did, said the umpire. Play on towards Jewell. Goes towards the boundary line. He's happy for it to go over. In fact, it was number 21, Michael Kruger. Throw in to take place. Right half forward for the South Gambier Demons, who lead at 5-9 to 5-2. 7 pure point margin here. The scoreboard tells us to ground. Here's Munro. Kick. He's had a number of handy positions towards that full forward line. Runners wanted. Mullen comes on at 23. Good defence is Templeton. And it'll go over the boundary line for a throw in left half forward, rather left forward pocket for the South Gambier Demons, who lead it by 7 points. This crowd is fairly sparse at that end. It is far more jam-packed at the other end, and towards this grandstand side, I can tell you. To ground his Templeton. No, in fact, it's not. It was Matty Templeton indeed, and he runs it over the boundary line for another throw in. 7 points the Demons lead by. Not a lot of action just at the moment in this grand final. Punched away by Rook, falls forward this time to Lilburn, who's got space, kicks towards that defensive outer side in front of the scoreboard. Glynn sitting under it and takes a very handy grab.
Been a very dominant player, Wayne Glynn at centre half back, Jim. He's certainly repelled many attack from Hamilton, and Glynn now will drive the ball in towards the 50-metre mark here for South Gambier, and a big leap there, and a beautiful mark taken by Munro. Justin Munro gets onto his right foot, comes towards Paul Mullen here. Hamilton come away with the ball now, and it looks like it could be Hando, I think. Jimmy's had 1 or 2 bounces coming around this grandstand wing now. Hando onto his left foot, takes the ball in towards half forward. Glynn once again gets back and takes that very well, a very nice mark there, and Wayne Glynn's having a sensational game, and he's well on top of Riddle at this stage. Plays on now, comes in short towards Leroy Capel, the trusty backline from South Gambier, and that's a very good decision by Kevin Farley, because he paid one similar a minute ago, and once you try to beat a player, Jim, you've got to be either get rid of the ball, or if you're tackles, you must get rid of it. So therefore, it was a holding the ball decision. Pollock now, just outside of the 50-metre mark, hasn't got much to offer. Hamilton player's not really making himself on offer, but Pollock no doubt will drive the ball deep into attack. Puts the ball inside, perhaps 25, 30-metre mark. McCarthy there, down comes Duncan McGregor. He hasn't had much of the footy at this stage. Patzel comes out now and relieves the ball. Dagger Harris comes out to Johnny Hoof, the ruckman. The ball's now loose out here to where Matt Templeton's got the run of it. Dion Rook's in support of him. Templeton can't pick it up. Very well done by Kevin Harris. Sensational effort there, and Johnny Hoof's still in there. Gets the ball now. Handball, Stephen Jewell. Comes to Paul Mullen. Mullen now down towards where Darren Sims gets back but can't take the mark. He's up again, Darren Sims. A wonderful effort by Darren Sims. But I can tell you, Jim, back here on the centre wing, Kevin Harris beat 3 Hamilton players, and just through pure persistence, Kevin Harris's lion-hearted effort got the ball down to Darren Sims, whose effort was just as good. And Jim, we talk about second efforts, and there was 2 of the best you'll see all day.
Darren Sims gets the goal. Give 3 points of that to Kevin Harris. Number 20 on screen, Darren Sims battled hard on the goal square. The goal was created further up. Well, he mightn't be as quick as he was, but he's just as strong, the Ox.
And the desire is certainly still there. And we have a blood rule now as Kevin Farley.
Richard Adder will have to come off and he'll be substituted. The interchange bench be worked overtime with blood rules this since it's been introduced, and that's fair enough. And number 10 coming on for South Gambier, getting his first run, Michael Fox. Fox is on the grand final. His father Gary played for many years with South Gambier. And we'll get underway again from the centre bounce. Wayne Riddle now on the ball, 6'9", 5'2", in favour of the South Gambier Demons.
Shotty Stevens comes on for the first time today too, Jim. As the advantage rules played now through Munro, who's getting a lot of possessions here. The ball sprung free. Fox is on the ground for the first time. He can't pick the ball up. The young lad's done a great job, got back on the ball for the second time, and his effort there to hold the ball in for South Gambier was certainly very, very good indeed. But no doubt young Michael Fox would have been very nervous, Jim, coming on the ground for the first time in a senior grand final.
How'd you like your first kick to be a goal?
Would be quite handy, Jim, wouldn't it?
Sims got all over the top of McGinley. It goes to Kameen. It was, and Kameen will get the free kick back there. Good call by the umpire, Kevin Farley. They play on. Kameen tries to work it across that time. McGinley forced to go back, and they concede a behind. And in the end, probably good thinking from Ashley Crowe as the South Gambier forward line closed down on them. 6'9", 5'3", rather 6'10", 46. To 5'2", 32. The Demons have a 14-point advantage, and we're approximately 10 minutes, 11 minutes. Big jump by McGregor. To ground it came. Hand that time. Comes loose to Hando, who's been a very handy player. Kicks it across ground and almost Templeton, but good spoil that time by Salmon, who came back hard. Here's Templeton again. Works inside on that left foot. Will go towards half forward. Ball just holding up. Mullen came back in defence. Glynn got a fist on it, tapped on by hand. Came to Riddle. Riddle's hand passed to whom? I'm not sure. It falls to the ground. Number 5 is grabbed Jervis. They go back on it this time. Via comes back towards Jervis, who works his way out. Goes on the left foot. Back towards that goal square. Who's wanted back there? And a free kick's been picked out. Gee whiz, they're picking them out, David, I must tell you.
I tell you what, Jim, they're very hot, aren't they? I couldn't see much in that, but obviously we are a lot further away from the play than what the umpires are. But could you see much in that, Jim?
No, I would have played on, but as you say, the man in white is out there. He is closer, and it's not always the same view when you're looking from this side of the fence. Andrew Gill kicking for goal, David, number 4, if you don't mind.
He's had a very good quarter and a bit, Andrew Gill.
Fires on goal, and it is okay, I think, or not. Yes, it is. It's a goal. And Matty Patzel not happy with the call on him, but nevertheless, that's the way it is. And a good handy goal that time again by Andrew Gill, who brings up goal number 4. So they're going to have to watch him. And number 3 and number 32. Matthew Patzel's already got a goal, but his opponent at this stage, Andrew Gill, has got 4. And it's a 6'10", 46 to 6'2", 38. The margin back to 8 points in favour of the Demons. We've got a contest, Western Border League Grand Final 96 on KTV Sport. Ryan and Hoof. Hoof that time. Runners wanted. Salmon closes down on it. Can't work past Pollock. Finally did. Got it towards Munro. Munro's been very good. Here's Mullen. He's been excellent as well. Kicks on that right foot back towards, and a nice one-hander mark by Dagger Harris. Harris chips underneath, looking for Sims. Got front posse from behind. Runners wanted. Here's a chance for Fox. He comes on it. Can't quite grab it, the youngster. He loses it when he does. He'll get a kick this time back on his right foot, but sitting underneath at that time was Dion Rook, but eludes him, and it will be out for a throw in deep in the right forward pocket for the South Gambier Demons, who lead at 6-10 to 6-2. Andrew Wilson, the boundary umpire, puts it back into play. Darren Sims, big punch from the front. They defend well. His Rook goes over the top of it. Hand pass comes out. Hando goes to ground. One of the free kick. It's a grand final. I won't pay those. And it will be a throw in. Gee, they don't pay some of them. They pick out the tight other ones up the other end.
It's, but then again, as we said, they're a lot closer than what we are.
Absolutely,
they know what they're doing.
Yep. Let's not be critical. It's a tough job, I can tell you. Riddle from behind may have got a hand on that. Jewel goes over the top. South Gambier players put a hand in and they'll tie it down. Munro again, was it? It will be a throw up or a ball up that time. Michael Fox indeed. Right half forward for the Demons, who lead it by 8 points. A struggle here at Vansittart Park. Hando, good to hands. And towards the boundary line, and it will be thrown in. Good control by David Hando, but they closed in on him. Dagger Harris was there, along with Michael Fox, and we will have another throw in. The Demons currently by 8 points. It's a real nip and tuck affair. The two heavyweights of the competition battle at Vansittart Park. It comes to ground. It'll go through for a behind from the hit in from Sims, and that gives them a 9-point lead. 6-11, 47 to 6-2, 38. The Pies to bring it back in. Kameen or McGinley? McGinley it may be. Kicks long. Looking for Riddle in front position. Almost. Finally controls it. Comes to Dagger Harris. Free kick given. Oh. And I couldn't pick it either, but Darren Sims has got it.
It's Darren Sims now inside of 50, Jim. And
do you know what that was for, David?
Sorry?
What was that for?
Oh, a throw, I think, Jim. And I think he paid a throw. He indicated. But Darren Sims' pass now comes into where Salmon's made space on his own here. But unfortunately, the ball's carried over.
Why would you kick it to that side of the ground if you're going into attack?
Jim, because really, Darren Sims is a lovely kick. He's playing at centre-half forward or full forward. So therefore, he's there to kick goals. But he obviously thought that was the best option. The ball comes now. It's loose. Dagger Harris, but unfortunately the Dagger Harris had the ball, but a free kick's been picked out and will go to Ashley Crowe. Crowe comes across the ground, which is a bit dangerous here towards McGinley, and McGinley takes the mark deep on the far side of the ground. McGinley now brings the ball round on the grandstand side here, looking for Stephen Jules. Jules gets his hand the ball. Young Fox is retarded, but he gets back at it. Oh, good second effort there by Mullen. Comes out to Hamilton now. They get the ball around here. Riddle and McGregor. McGregor gets it back now to great tackle by Riddle. The ball's now still free, and Craig McAllister will come in and bounce the ball. Two great tackles there, Jim, and I feel that McAllister did the right thing there because both players were playing the ball. 42 there once again is Johnny Huff and Big Mick Ryan, and they've been going at it right from the first bounce now. As South Gambier make an interchange now as Jason Hand comes off and Johnny Clayton comes on for his first run. Huff and Mick Ryan. Mick Ryan gets the ball over the back. The handball now comes out towards where young Matty Templeton's tackled beautifully there by Mick Ryan, and the ball's in the pack situation again, and Craig McAllister will bounce the ball here on the score on the grandstand side centre wing here at Vansittart Park, with South Gambier leading 6-11 to Hamilton 6-2. Ryan and Huff. Ryan used his big bulk and his body, gets the ball to the ground. Through comes Pollock, had many possessions during the day, and they bottle the ball up here, right in front of our commentary position with Munro and Pollock, the last two players to get up. McAllister seems to have the ball more than the other player on the ground, Jim, at this stage.
You have it sometimes in umpiring, but he's done a fair job. A couple of technical ones we've called, but who knows, we're not out there. Riddle has time to think about a hand pass, then get a wobbly one towards half forward. They want to run on this, Hamilton. Finally, Glenn works it a little bit clear. Finally, Riddle again gets his second kick. Back towards that full forward line. Here's a chance for Capewell. They'll close on him. Gill goes in. Look out. Gill's already got 4. Comes back in the direction this time of Brendan Lang. And Lang will get a free kick for being taken high. And Kevin Farley made the call. And Brendan Lang, who played in the premiership team for Hamilton Imperials last year against South Gambier when Imps won it, will kick on that northern goal. And what a handy one it would be. It'll bring them back to within 3 points. The margin 9, 6-11, 6-2 prior to this kick from Brendan Lang. Kicking from about 30, maybe 35. Into the breeze slightly as it blows across his left shoulder, sets it on its way. It looks pretty good. The Hamilton supporters are happy with that one. And Brendan Lang gets his first of the grand final, and he brings the Pies to within 3 points. It's 7 goals to 44 to 6-11, 47, and that's a 3-point margin to the South Gambier Demons, David.
Yes, Jim, and that 6 goals 11, like 17 scoring shots to 9, Jim, but South Gambier only enjoy a 3-point lead, so bad kicking has kept Hamilton in the game, because relatively South Gambier, Mick Ryan had a couple of relatively easy shots. Adam Salmon missed an easy one, and it could prove costly towards the end of the game, Jim. The bounce of the ball, Ryan and Huff again, Jim, at it once again. Good contest here with Munro now, and Ryan in there again. Munro over top of the ball. Hamilton come clear with the ball, though, through. Pollock's in there fighting hard for the ball, and Kevin Farley is right on the spot, and once again will bounce the ball.
Bounce down, just attacking side of centre, left of screen for the Hamilton Magpies, who trail at 7-2, 6-11. 3 points the margin. Ryan goes with hoof. Comes to Pollock, got a handy one. It's going to that defensive side. South Gambier won't mind it down there. It's picked up almost that time by Patzel, robbed of it. They go back in over the top of him. Very quick reflexes, some of the Hamilton players. And again, South Gambier are forced to tie it up, and will have a bounce inside the 50-metre arc. Right half forward as Pollock exchanges words with Glynn. And that'll get you nowhere. As coming up with a number 16, Brendan Lang, who kicked the last goal, to bring the Pies back within 3 points of the D's at Vansittart Park. And we've played for 20 minutes of this a second. The kick wobbles off the boot as Hamilton forced forward again. Bounces unkind. Hando, look out when he gets it near goal. Goes hard at it. South will tie it up again. And we may, in fact, have another bounce. We will.
But, gee, Jim, the urgency of both sides now is very evident here in this late stages of the second quarter, and both sides players are putting their bodies on the line.
Gee, Hamilton would love to go in at half-time with a lead. Here's a chance. It came back towards Woods. He's grabbed, forced to get rid of it. McCarthy can't take the handle either, and we'll have another bounce. Defensive stuff as grand finals often are. At least we've got a contest, David. 6-11, 47, 7-2, 44. There's no blowout in this game. It'll go right down to the wire. Craig McAllister starts. Hoof went high. Ryan got the palm to McGregor. Defensive kick back towards the defensive 50 line. Here's Riddle working his way through, and a very attacking kick. Sitting underneath it is Lang. Will he be paid? No. Play on. Kick from that time. Number 5, Jervis wobbles to the boundary line, and South Gambier got out of that by the skin of their teeth.
Very lucky to get out of that, Jim.
Brendan Lang couldn't quite hang on.
No, and Riddle's had a couple of important touches in the last 5 minutes, Jim. He's just starting to come into the game.
He's starting to move himself onto the ball. He's playing a kick behind the play, and he reads it so well. Very experienced. Grabbed by Woods. The kick's an up and under. Look out, who's got it? McCarthy in there. No punches from the South defence. That was a little slack. They all tried the mark. Comes to ground. They try and work on top of it again. They will. And good work, defensive work by Mark Winterfield. We'll see a bounce up. Number 13, Mick Ryan on screen. Winterfield did the defensive work. Number 21 there was David Chant. And we'll have a bounce again. Gee, it's tight out there. South trying to prevent the goal. Hamilton so desperately wanted. As it goes, McGregor got a wild hand pass. Come to number 25, and Martin Lilburn smothered. And it'll be touched off the boot for another throw in. No easy kicks at the minute, David.
No, Jim, conditions are certainly having a big bearing on the game, where the ground, the ball's spending a lot of time loose, and it's very hard for either side to break clear.
Wood's got a kick out of the pack and back towards that right forward pocket. Dion Rourke sitting there. He got away from Chant that time. And Dion Rourke will kick from, well, the distance won't be a problem. He's just got to guide it through there. And the youngster, well, not so young anymore, has had a big impact for the Hamilton Magpies.
Obviously moved forward, Jim, because he started off at centre-half back, but they've obviously pushed him forward now. But he'll be kicking right into the face of that breeze from there, Jim. So it won't be an easy kick for Dion Rourke, but he's a very good player and a very experienced player.
Be a handy one for the Pies. We close on the 25-minute mark. Dion Rourke to put the Maggies in front. It looked okay off the boot. No, it's there. And Dion Rourke gets his first of the afternoon. And it takes Hamilton on to 8 goals, 250. 8-2-50, South of 6-11, 47. And it's the Magpies at the 23.5-minute mark who have a 3-point lead. Dion Rourke, number 7, getting his first.
Actually, Hamilton have really lifted their intensity, Jim, and they look perhaps just a bit better side at this stage. The South Gambier makes a change with Munro coming off and Richie Attawell coming on, Jim. So obviously Peter Sims looking for a little bit more run.
Justin Munro's had a very good game. Attawell coming off because of the blood rule, now able to come back on. Here they come again. The Magpies, look out. The Demons need to do something here and prevent them scoring on half-time. The hand pass wide. Loose player in Templeton as he got out of it. Hand pass inside the Riddle. Riddle goes bang from 50. Sitting underneath it is Capewell, and he got back there in defence. The kick from Wayne Riddle in the end, not a good one. Kick short by Capewell. Look out, you're in trouble. Attawell. Stevens from behind, big spoil. And we'll have a throw in left half forward.
At this stage of the game, Riddle's had a big influence since he's gone into the middle of the ground.
And again, he seems to be running a little loose. I'm not too sure who should be on him. Maybe Dagger Harris. But they need to pick up and be tight on Wayne Riddle. Here's Stevens. Here's Riddle. David called it. Kick from Riddle goes deep into attack. Glynn getting back from the front. It was almost a chance for Gill. McCarthy's in there. Comes loose. Here's Rook. They all charge it down. Here's Veer going hard at it. Will we get another ball up? Another work and spear from Mullen. Clever hand pass Harris. What can they build from here? Through the centre goes Dagger Harris. Brian Harris to half forward. The kick's not a good one. And cut out by Stephen Jewell, who runs onto that left foot, keeping it back on this grandstand side. Templeton, hand pass wide to Stevens. Here's a beautiful kick of the ball is Shotty Stevens. No exception in towards half forward. Up that man again. No, it's Graham Wood this time. And Woods has got the mark on 50. He'll kick from outside right. Left half forward flank. The breeze coming across his left shoulder, so they could nearly give this a ride. And a handy one on half-time if Graham Wood can convert, or the Magpies can convert if the ball doesn't quite make it. The Demons are under pressure. They trail by 3 points. Graham Wood, you've got a beautiful shot of it. Starts at left. Will the wind bring it back? It's starting to, but it's not enough. Gee, it was an educated kick from Wood, but the wind in the end not bringing it back enough.
He was outside of 50 metres, so Capewell will bring the ball back in, and the game's very tense and tightened up at this stage, and Hamilton certainly late in the second quarter let's look the better side at this stage.
8-3, 6-11.
Nice kick by Capewell, well-weighted kick to Paul Mullen. Winterfield provides the run off half back now, and Winterfield comes through now. South Gambier will tend to run the ball, comes out towards Michael Sims, a very clever young man, and Michael Sims, a lovely weighted kick towards the goals, but Hamilton dropping back and will take the safe chest mark. And that should nearly be 50 metres. Oh, he's in trouble. He doesn't get through here, Hamilton, but does very well with the handball. Cost to McGinley. McGinley used his experience, and Hamilton's cleared the ball beautiful. Riddle once again provides a contest. Pollock, he's had a football of his own this afternoon, Pollock. Onto his left foot now. Up here to where Lang's got the ball, takes a great mark, and Brendan Lang, premiership player last year, tips the ball on here. South Gambier will... Oh, and a great mark by Dion Rook. Unfortunately, Wayne Glynn slipped over and did provide the actual platform for Dion Rook to get the ride, and a great passage of play by Hamilton there, particularly through McGinley, whose kick was well weighted, and Riddle's contest here in front of us. Jim got the ball to ground, and a great kick by Pollock, crossed to Lang, a nice mark, and the ball ends up with Dion Rook.
The difference, David, the delivery into the forward lines of late. South Gambier, some ordinary kicks, and well, you saw it on screen on KTV's production of the 96 grand final, and what a grab Dion Rook. We saw a spectacular mark from Hando, and Rook that time taking a beauty, but he doesn't start it left enough. In fact, it'll be out on the full as it hits the right-hand side behind post, and the Demons escape again. 6-11-47 South Gambier, 8-3-51 the Hamilton Magpies. They lead it by 4 points.
27-minute mark, Jim.
Kick in to be taken by Winterfield in that right back pocket. Kicks it wide, sitting underneath and uncontested. The man who's had his own footy, said David Case, and that's a ruck rover, Michael Pollock. Well, Pollock and Riddle having big influence, and they're on-ballers having a big influence for Hamilton. The South on-ballers need to get tighter. This man's lifting as well. Michael Ryan, Mick Ryan, the medalist in 96, goes back defensively for South Gambier as we go to 27 minutes. Mick Ryan from deep in defence will kick towards that outer side of the ground. That's the defensive side. Chips away short and finds McGregor. Duncan McGregor running onto the mark. Andrew Gill, who's kicked 4 goals this afternoon as we close on half-time. The kick from McGregor. Long towards that scoreboard defensive side in front. Big grab that time by Salmon, I think. Adam Salmon will come through the centre square. That's a wobbly one. Who can get underneath that one? Running onto it, Darren Sims. Pace wanted here. Sims, the big fella, lumbers after it. Drops the ball in the end, and a good decision by Craig McAllister. Darren Sims caught by the arm, had nowhere to go with that one, and good defensive stuff.
Well done by Timmy
Cameen.
Cameen, Jim. Cameen clears the ball now for South Gambier. Riddle's out here, and a great mark there by McCarthy, who also has had a fairly big influence on this game. The long-headed McCarthy gets around on his left foot here towards number 25 in Justin Lilburn, but South Gambier come through with that Duncan McGregor. He drives the ball deep. Darren Sims is underneath it. Hamilton have the numbers here. They came out through Brian McGinley. Giggles McGinley clears the ball towards the boundary line. South Gambier, McGinley again, beautifully done by McGinley. Chased the ball up from good 30 metres, gets his hand to the ball now, and the ball was turned over by South Gambier. Dagger Harris is in there, and what a great contest out there. And Jim McGinley's effort there, his second and third effort was superb, which allowed the ball to go over the boundary line on the far outer wing here at Vansittart Park. Half time here, Jim, at Vansittart Park. And South Gambier trail Hamilton. Hamilton 8 goals 4, leading South Gambier 6 goals 11. And Jim, who would have thought that South Gambier would have been trailing by 5 points at half-time in the Western Border Grand Final?
Well, what a terrific effort by the Magpies as we see them on screen here. And, of course, the big ruckman, Johnny Hoof, has led from the front. Colin Riddle came on the ground just before the siren blew that time. 6-11, 8-4. They've had a lot of the play. South Gambier failed to convert. Their possessions have been OK around midfield, but they're kicking into the forward line poor. And as David called it, players like Pollock and now, of course, the captain coach for the Magpies, Wayne Riddle, starting to really get on top and causing some problems to the South Gambier side. They have half time to regroup. Peter Sims will talk to the boys. They know what they have to do, get tighter in midfield, watch the kicking into the forward line, and the Demons might have a big third quarter. But Hamilton have taken all the laurels so far. They lead it by 5 points. The underdogs by 5 points at half time on this KTV production of the 1996 Western Border League Grand Final. 6-11-47 South Gambier, Hamilton 8-4-52. And we are underway in the second half Western Border League Grand Final for 96 KTV's production from Vansittart Park. And Mick Ryan hand passes out to try and get the Demons forward. They trailed at half-time by 4 points after leading by 5 points at quarter-time. Darren Sims tried to get a magic kick out there. Didn't work for him. McGinley tidies up and he'll boot to this grandstand side defensively for the Magpies. And running onto it, Hando, who had a terrific first half. And he is absolutely cutting South Gambier to ribbons. Hando in front of the grandstand, long towards half forward. Running under it was Woods. And the mark has been paid to Graham Woods despite the protestations of Wayne Glenn. Good call, that one, because the ball was in.
I agree with the boundary umpire's decision there.
Did very well. Graham Woods, the centreman, starting to get on top. But he might be playing on a half forward line at the moment. And Hamilton finished that first half full of running. In towards full forward. Comes to ground Capewell. Hand pass to nobody. Hamilton in there, try and tie it down, and we'll have a ball up on that right half forward, between right half forward and that right forward pocket for the Hamilton Magpies, who lead at 8-3 to 6-11, and we're underway in the second half. Kevin Farley gets us underway. Woods came from behind Ryan Pollock. Another quick kick out of the pack. Danger sign for South Gambier. Fear goes after. The ball eludes him. Finally falls on top. We'll get a bounce if you fear Kevin Farley. And in fact, that's what the umpire does call. About 15, 20 metres out from that Hamilton goal. And if they get the first one of the second half, will they be alight? The Hamilton Magpies, underdogs coming into this grand final, are playing their hearts out. South Gambier within touch, only down by 4. Not out of it at all. Adderwell, who went off with the blood rule, finally gives way that time as it's forced towards the boundary line. And good work over there by Hamilton. See it be thrown in again.
Jim, just your quick review of the first half. How do you think both sides started off in the first half?
Well, I thought initially the way Hamilton started, they were going to be terrific. Then, of course, South Gambier steadied through Kevin Harris, couple of goals, and I thought they might run away with it. But then the big four for Hamilton started to get into the game as Kevin Farley caused another bounce, and that was, of course, Pollock, who'd been consistent all day, Hando, who'd been terrific. Suddenly Riddle moves himself into the centre and starts to become a dominant player, and they've got a couple of forwards now who are starting to fire. Rook went up in the forward line. He looked good up there. Things are looking good for Hamilton. South, you're going to have to work hard to win this.
Bounce down, Mick Ryan comes over the top and punches the ball clear. Comes out to Shotty Stevens. Beautiful hands to Hando. Again, that play you're talking about in the first half. But unfortunately, he kicked off the side of his boot. Capewell takes the mark. Plays on out towards Patzell. Good play in the first half. Onto his left foot. Richie Adderwell fumbles at the crucial time. Templeton's in there. So's Riddle. In comes Michael Sims and dribbles the ball over the boundary line. But Kevin Farley has deemed that Michael Sims was tackled too long and will take the subsequent free kick here right on the centre wing in front of the grandstand side of Vansittart Park. Michael Sims kicks the ball in high towards the contest. Jason Hand up very early. Out comes Michael Mullen. Matt Templeton's in there fighting hard for Hamilton with the ball. Gets the ball over here, but it's just raced into the path of Salmon. Salmon's awkward kick comes down to Darren Sims and I think it was McGinley there. A beautiful clear. No, it's McGinley this time. That was Kameen before, and McGinley clears the ball towards Pollock, and he seems to have the ball on the string today. Pollock now on that left foot drives the ball deep, but it's just 3 South players here compared to 1 player in Graham Woods, but Woods does a good job and spoils the ball and punches it towards the boundary line. Good contest by Woods there, Jim, because he had 3 South Gambier players to beat.
And ties it up on that outer wing position. Throw in to take place. 6-11, 8-3. We have not had a score so far, and we've played for almost 5 minutes in this, the third quarter of the Western Border League Grand Final for 96 on KTV Sport. Here's Stevens. Started on the interchange bench, is on now. Look for the captain coach. I think that time Riddle. He was taken high, and if a captain coach gets taken like that, just about bet he's going to get the free kick. But it was there. Good call, Kevin Farley. And from outside 50, Riddle will put them deep into attack. There's a bit of an up and under. Gets plenty of distance, though, as well. From behind, big grab. Graham Woods uncontested. And the South Gambier defence, David Case, in disarray.
Yes, they seem to Leroy Capel and Glennie and I think it was young Patzel. They stood around there and they didn't block the run of the player, and Graham Woods just stepped in between them and took a very good mark. So just Jim, I've just noticed South seemed to be a little bit flat, and I was in the change rooms at half time, and Peter Sims was doing everything he possibly could to motivate him, but they just seemed a little bit flat, and Hamilton once again have come out and they've looked very good at the start of this quarter. And I think Graham Woods has kicked that goal, Jim. By gee, I tell you what, South Gambier now have got a ball game on their hand. If they're the top side they have been all year, I would envisage that they will fight back, Jim. But Hamilton certainly at this stage have come out here at the start of this quarter looking very, very good.
Number 1 on screen is Graham Woods. Matthews Fear is opposed to him. That's the first goal for the grand final to Graham Woods, and it's a 10-point lead, if you don't mind, to the Hamilton Magpies, who lead at 6-11 to 9-3. That was the first score of this, the second half. We've been playing approximately 6 minutes. And Graham Woods puts the first score on the board. It is a goal as the boundary umpires start to work it back to the centre. 6-11, 9-3, a 10-point break to the Hamilton Magpies.
Both ruckmen still going at it, Johnny Hoof and Mick Ryan, and both have had played very big parts for their club at this stage, Jim. Both doing a fine job, the big men.
Ryan and Hoof, as David called it, and Hoof again got a tap. Salmon red at best, comes to ground. Outerwall goes in hard that time, trying to work it out, Dagger Harris, but finally McCarthy, who's been handy, kicks it towards half forward, a little up and under. Great grab by Fear that time, Matty Fear. We've seen some big grabs in this game. Fear will go wide on that left foot attacking side. That's the way to come, Matthew. Raking kick in front, Salmon from behind Rook. Well read Pollock. We've said that a few times today. And Chart goes in hard. In fact, there'll be a free kick coming back to Michael Pollock that time.
There's that man again, Jim. Got to be close to best on the ground, I'd say, wouldn't he, Pollock?
Comes back behind the mark, and Pollock will kick them into attack. They lead at 9-3, 6-11. It's a 10-point margin to the Magpies. In front, McCarthy again, and they're playing from in front, Hamilton, and that is very significant as they move forward. And they've got a little bit of height up there with Rook. This man, McCarthy. Woods gets down there as well. The kick from McCarthy on the attacking side. That's well placed, a little long in the end, and it goes out of bounds on the full, so it'll be kicked in by Leroy Capel. But if you're attacking, that was the side of the ground to go.
McCarthy's kicking skills leaves a lot to be desired, Jim, doesn't he? His kicking action is very good.
Talk about kicking skills. What about Mick Ryan's miss and then Adam Salmon's miss?
Yeah,
I mean, they're going to rue those.
They could be crucial in the end, yes.
Glenn goes to this grandstand defensive side in front. The spoil that time from behind was clever that time by David Chart. Finally, they work it clear. Hamilton through Pollock, who got it from Woods. Left foot of Pollock. He's knocked off having kicks. Comes to the ground. They go on top of it. We should get a ball up here, and we will. And Pollock for mine, nearly BOG with Hando. And Hamilton look pretty good. If they get their tails in front, which they have at the moment, they're going to be hard to peg back. Of course, they've come in the hard way, David. It just depends how much run they've got in the legs. But South Gambier looking down the barrel at the moment, boys. And it'll be a big performance to get up from here. Throw in, right half forward, between right half forward and forward pocket for the Hamilton side. Ryan goes hard. Woods took it out of the air. To ground it comes. Outerwall grab, did he have it? Yes, did the umpire play on? Pollock again, a quick kick out of that pack. He's done that a few times today under pressure. Wobbles onto that left half forward, or between left half forward and forward pocket, and a throw in to take place again. Gee, they're doing all the attacking. You'd think the breeze would be slightly to the left of screen. It is across the ground, and the way it is at the moment, you'd have to say that Hamilton will come home with it.
And South Gambier got a fair number of their players down on form at this stage, Jim, and Hamilton are certainly doing a good job. Riddle and Ryan go for it. Winterfield gets his quick right foot to it. Comes back now to Wayne Riddle. Wayne Riddle sidesteps. Richie Adderall drives the ball right to the goal square. Graham Woods, but a wonderful, wonderful mark back there by Lee Capel. Handballs the ball on. Chance got the ball there. Beautiful play by Big Leroy there. Chant chips the ball over to Michael Sims. This is better play by South Gambier. Sims looks to go inside the Patzel. He's called play on. Dodges around now. Uses his skills beautifully, Michael Sims. Might lose the ball. Matty Fear's got it now. Good chase by Hamilton here. Fear brings the ball back in, but we have Dion Rook getting back here with Kevin Harris. By gee, Rookie, you want to be very quick. Good contest by Harris. Once again, the Ox. And he beats the two of them, Jim, and takes the ball over the line. And what a great effort by Ox Harris here. Good work by Michael Sims on the wing here, too, to get the ball through. But South Gambier, just a little bit, don't seem to be quite the sharp South Gambier we've seen right through the year, Jim.
No, they've been a bit flat. If you look at last year's grand final, they also came out, they're annihilated by Imperials, looking flat again. Don't know what it is. Maybe going straight into the final from the second semi may not work for South. Hand pass comes beautifully from Sims to Ryan as they build something this time, but cutting it off. That man, number 6, is, in fact, Ashley Crow. Got it across nicely to Jewel. Jewel on the left foot goes towards that scoreboard defensive side of the ground on the outer wing. McGinley's run well all day from that back line. Kicks it in towards Woods. Hot on his heel is Glynn, but he turns him inside out that time, but the ball just over the boundary line, looking dangerous that time by Hamilton, and I think in the end they were happy to get the call, South Gambier. Throw in attacking side of the ground, just towards their half-forward line for the Magpies, who currently lead at 9-3 to 6-11. You're watching on KTV Sport, the 1996 Grand Final from Vanceta Park between Hamilton and South Gambier. The black and white Magpies going right of screen as McCarthy. A long one into Templeton. He'll be run down by Glenn, but breaks the tackle, breaks 2 tackles. Lovely left foot pass is superb that time into the pocket. And, gee, he worked it very well. Templeton had a slow start.
What
but a chance for Woods now.
Jim. What beautiful balance. Didn't lose his footing whatsoever and did a really good job. Woods
to kick on goal. This will make it a 16-point lead. And Graham Woods, with the scoreline 9-3, 6-11, will kick on goal for the Hamilton Magpies. Beautiful kick of the footy on the mark, Leroy Capewell. Just hard to believe this is actually happening to South at the moment. Woods into the breeze. It'll hold up. It may just make it. It does. It's got there. Big one, Graham Woods, 16-point margin.
2 goals
Hamilton.
in this quarter to Woods, Jim.
They're looking very good indeed. Very good indeed. 10-3, 63 Demons. You're stuck on 6-11, 47. As David called it, second one of the quarter for that man on screen, Graham Woods. And if the Hamilton Magpies watch this KTV production of the 1996 Western Border League Grand Final, probably no more important goal in this third quarter than that one at the 10-minute mark. The Magpies looking good.
Centre bounce. Kevin Farley. Hoof and Ryan out again. Thumped away by Richie Adderall. Dagger Harris kicks the ball off the ground. Kevin Harris is in there. Hamilton in to contest as well. Dagger Harris in over the top of the ball, but Craig McAllister's right in control there and will bounce the ball right in the middle of the ground with South Gambier training Hamilton here at this stage in the 10-minute mark of the third quarter at Vanceta Park. McAllister puts the ball down. Ryan and Hoof again. Hoof comes over the top and taps the ball down without clear towards Jewel. A lovely left foot chip. Oh, just too bad. I think he looked for McCarthy there, Jim, but unfortunately Wayne Glynn got in front of Woods there and took a very timely mark. Wayne Glynn started brilliantly in the first quarter, died a bit in the second quarter, but has come back and just taken a beautiful chest mark here in front of Graham Woods. Darren Sims gets his hands to the ball, comes over top to Dagger Harris. Hando, a beautiful 30-metre punch into the open. Graham Woods once again runs on the ball. Already kicked 2 goals this quarter. Onto that left foot, McCarthy in there. In comes Fear, gets the ball on his left foot, kicks it wide towards Leroy Capel and Michael Sims here. Michael Sims gets back and takes a very good mark. Leroy Capel provides the run, but Sims doesn't see. Comes in short now, looking for Michael Mullen. And a good mark taken here by number 11 and Jamie Stubbs. Stubbs now, Jim, just outside of 50. Be too far to kick it from there, I think, with that breeze the way it is. But he'll no doubt he'll drive the ball deep, right to the face of goal. Hamilton and South Gambier will contest. The ball comes at the front of the pack. 25 for Hamilton there in Justin LeBurn. Gets the ball out. It comes out towards Duncan McGregor for one of his few touches today. Kicks the ball long now down towards where big Ashley Crow comes out towards Huffy and Shotty Stevens. Shotty Stevens got the ball now. Julie, a beautiful kick. Balances beautifully on that right foot. He's a class player, Shotty Stevens. Seen him do that many a time over a great number of Western Border League games. A fine finisher is Greg Stevens, and he puts a goal on the board from a good contest by Ashley Crowe, who got the ball down. Big Johnny Huff, the ruckman, got involved. They got the handball cross, and Stephen kicks a beautiful goal.
11 goals, 3-69 of the Hamilton Magpies, 6-11-47. They have not scored in 13 minutes, rather 14 minutes of this, the third quarter, in the Western Border League Grand Final of 96 have the Demons. They're stuck on 6-11. Hamilton have kicked 3. They're 11 goals, 3 goals that is, and the Demons looking down the barrel, trailing by 22 points as Hamilton try to build something, but South on the rebound through Fear, who's played very well. Raking left foot kick in towards that goal square. Rook has got back. He'll tap it through and concede the point. He does. Very cool back there, Dion Rook, and no problem giving up the point. South Gambier go to 6-12-48. Hamilton are 11-3-69.
Capewell into the middle of the ground, Jim. South Gambier have made a change. They've brought Johnny Clayton's gone to full back, and Capewell's gone into the middle of the ground now. They're hopefully looking for a bit of bulk from Capewell, which will probably help their centre to nullify Riddle most probably. There's Capewell there getting involved already with his strength. So it'll be interesting to see now. Peter Sims has obviously seen that he needs Capewell in there to match Riddle and perhaps the likes of Pollock and them, and he might just open the packs up for South Gambier.
Bounced down by Kevin Farley, comes towards Ashley Crowe, smothered by Sims. Players fall on top of the footy this time. Free kick picked out by Kevin Farley, kicking in danger rule, and it'll go back this time to Ashley Crowe. It's been very handy. Will he come this attacking side along the grandstand, seeking protection from the wind? He chips in very short. Ooh, just short enough for Brendan Lang to get to it. And Michael Mullen came hard on Lang. Says a couple of words, but the Maggies lead it by 22, and the Demons not looking to make an impression at the minute. Look like making an impression. Free kick again, and McCarthy, who's been handy, kicks in front of the grandstand along this grandstand wing. Hando got loose from Attawell, and that was poor defensive work by Richie Attawell. Hando centres the ball. Long kick from Hando. Wind pushes it wide. Players come at it hard this time. Working hands and knees are Hamilton. Back towards number 14 is on McGinley, that time down from the back line. McGinley, and he earns a free, gives it off to Pollock. No, he'll have to come back.
Playing in front, Hamilton too, Jim, and consequently the free kicks are coming their way. So while they continue to play in front, they're going to worry South Gambier.
They've got some problems, the Demons. I don't know what Peter Sims can do about it just at this stage. 6-13, 11-3. McGinley to kick from the square and put the Maggies right into attack. Shocking kick, wobbles off the boot. Fear makes a run at it, eludes him, got a shocking bounce. Tried to work it out, did Attawell. Back to McGregor. McGregor tries to lift. The left foot kick is not good. Pushed by Riddle, and the free kick will go to Wayne Riddle for on the full. He's very animated, the captain coach. He kicks in short this time, not a good one. Glynn should cut this off, they don't. Finally they work it out. Is it Munro back there or is it Patzel? Kicks it on the left foot, chips away in towards the centre. This is Sims, went in front, couldn't quite hold it. This is Pollock yet again. Cut off by Kevin Harris. That was dangerous. The Ox makes a charge. He needs the lift and he's trying to. The ball eludes him. Grand final bouncing off for Kevin Harris that time. Crows caught. They fall on top of it. Kevin Farley calls for a bounce and he'll get it. Number 32 back there was in fact Matthew Patzel in defence. I'll get one of them. He's already kicked the goal, now back in the back line. Kevin Farley, dead set centre wing grandstand side. The Demons to the left of screen trail it by 20 points. In fact, it's more than that. It's 11-3, 6-13. Capewell wants it. Stevens wants it more. Got it to Hando. He'll work inside. Good tackle by Capewell. Will he get a kick for it? Yes, he will. Good call by Craig McAllister. Leroy worked hard. 6-13, 11-3.
Just what they needed, South Gambier. They need Leroy to use his aggression. A wonderful player and generally uses his aggression very well, Capewell. Kicks the ball very long now, deep in towards McGregor. Up high, Kevin Harris, the ever opportunist. Harris will kick this. Generally likes these goals, Harris, but back there is Dion Rook. Rook now gets it. Hamilton break free here, and they've got the numbers on the far side of the ground. It comes out to Templeton. Overlap now will be Hamilton as they get the ball on the far wing. Comes out here towards number 21 now, and Michael Kruger. Kruger down towards Woods, who's had a very good very good start this quarter. McCarthy in there makes a contest and holds the ball up. And by G, Jim McCarthy, he mightn't look much as a player, but by G, is he a wonderful player with a big heart and has a red-hot go when the ball gets in towards his area. Absolutely.
He's not pretty, David Case, but he can play footy, and a 20-point lead to the Magpies.
Bounce down, comes out here now towards where Patzel leads Gilly and Andrew Gill. Patzel gets onto his right foot, but kicks it out of bounds on the full, and Hamilton's pressure has really got South Gambier with their backs against the wall here at the 20-minute mark of the third quarter of the 1996 Western Border League Grand Final. Hamilton 11-3, leading Casterton 6-13. 20 points in front of South Gambier at the 20-minute mark of the third quarter.
Guess who's got the ball?
Riddle brings the ball in there. He'll bring it deep in towards the about the 30-metre mark from the goal. Players set themselves in front of the pack. A great leap there by number 9 and David Hando, who's been a wonderful player, as Jim has mentioned many times in the call. But the ball is just rushed over the boundary line, and once again will be thrown in deep into Hamilton's attacking area. And Jim, the ball spent most of this quarter down there.
Has indeed. The breeze is still going to left of screen slightly. It is more across the ground. So if anyone's got it, would be South. And what's interesting with this 20-point lead, David Case, and it could evolve into a bigger lead as Brendan Lang shoots on that southern goal. Did they get a hand on it? They did back there. Johnny Clayton did enough. Now the lead is 21 points, 6-13, 11-4. It's probably an easy ground to defend on at the moment.
Oh, yes, of course it is. And the momentum at this stage is right with Hamilton. It'll have to take a big character now, and surely South Gambier, with their reputation and their fine array of footballers, will come back. Let's hope in the last quarter.
Johnny Clayton to bring it back in. 6-13, 11-4. The Demons trail by 21. Booted wide, and Richard Attlewood got it just inside the line. The running players need to lift for the Demons. That's fairly obvious. Attlewood kicks a shocker. Goodness gracious me, Richard. And it will be thrown in half forward left for the Magpies. They can do no right at this stage, South Gambier. They are struggling. But maybe we're anticipating a comeback. Who knows? Wind a little calmer now, so that'll help both sides. Back towards the centre. Mullen makes a good tack on the ball, tries to work in left, then goes right, got it off nicely. Attlewood running, left foot, right foot kick from Attlewood towards forward line. Mullen can't mark. Free kick being picked out. It has been picked out, and Paul Mullen over there. I think it's Paul, or Michael Fox, in fact, might have got it. And Fox, number 10, will bring it in for the South Gambier Demons in front of the scoreboard on that outer side. Big kick by Fox. Ryan's having a rest in the forward line, works hard, bullocks hard, gets on the right foot, do something. Mick finally goes for a hand pass. McGregor wanted it, he's besieged. The ground it goes, no one can pick it up. Pollock tries to work it out, he's been wonderful. It comes to ground, picked up by Hando, who's been just as good. McGinley's been a fine player as well. And when you start listing players, you start listing Hamilton players as McGinley goes to that outer side of the ground. Out on the full, unfortunately, and the Demons will bring it back through Matty Fear.
Hamilton very good at ground level today, Jim. Their skills, and they've handled the conditions at this stage far better than what South Gambier have. The kick will be taken in by Matty Fair on that far side now. Fair kicks the ball a good 60 metres, comes down towards where Lee Capral's there, but Dion Rook, Jim, who also has been one of those players that's quietly gone about his task, has played very well, both when going forward and playing back. Hamilton now comes out through number 21, in Michael Kruger, takes the ball down to where Woods. Hando's in there again. Great tackle by Hamilton there in the crunches. Comes out towards Hando. Comes out now towards that man Pollock. Breaks the tackle, touches the ball on the ground. Inside 50 now, Pollock. Brings the ball to the face of the pack. South Gambier getting back, and great courage shown by Michael Sims. It comes out here now to Molly Patzel. Onto his left boot, looking for Duncan McGregor. Duncan breaks free down the wing now. Kevin Harris here on his own, and this is set up for Ox Harris here under his right foot. A beautiful short pass to Mick Ryan. Ryan and Harris muck it up though. Comes out to Kameen. Back to Ashley Crowe. Good play by Crowe. Looks forward here to try and find, but I think the ball will be out of bounds Good decision by the umpire, because the player carried the ball over the line, Jim, and it was a correct decision by both boundary and field umpire there. Ball thrown back in. Mick Ryan, Johnny Hoof. Hoof takes front position, Riddle's in there, takes a beauty from Mick Ryan, tries to stage for the free kick, but Kevin Farley's been too experienced for you, Mr. Riddle, and he's certainly been around a lot longer than what you have been. Kevin Farley in charge of this game. Blood rule here, Jim. I don't know who's bleeding, but...
And in fact, maybe Wayne Riddle.
It might be Wayne Riddle.
Well, that's a handy break for South Gambier. Now, if they can do some attacking with Riddle off the ball, off the ground, in fact, he'll go to interchange. Good shot of him making his way to the interchange.
Obviously, he must have got it high then, Jim, if he's got a cut above the eye.
21-point lead it is to the Magpies. Coming on number 5, Craig Jervis.
Bringing Graham Woods back in the middle of the ground now. The bounce down. Ryan. Hoof jumps over the top of him. Down to Michael Mullen. Ashley Crowe's back in there. So is Martin Lilburn. Good tackle there by Harris. Ball springs free. Leroy Capral. Paul Mullen. Haven't called Paul Mullen much today either, Jim. Gets one of his very few touches. Brings the ball back in. It's all Hamilton. And a wonderful, wonderful mark taken there by Timmy Kameen. plays on, brings the ball around this outer side here, and there's your man, Jim, who must be knocking up, getting kicks, David Hando. 50-metre penalty.
Oh.
That's two that Richie Adam's given away now. That's very, very uncharacteristic of Richie, because he's a very, very disciplined player, but just maybe a little bit frustrated, Jim, and I feel sure that he will fight back. Hando takes the ball now, drives the ball inside of 50. Good kick by Richie Adam. Good work back there by South Gambier. Wayne going to be run down. Salmon outlets the ball here now, and it comes across to Justin Munro. Nice kick in, but once again, the ball's short, and there's that man McGinley. They're doing a good job back there, McGinley.
Again, they're kicking into the forward line, David.
Yes.
Very ordinary by the Ds.
Hamilton now get back in here through number 21 in Michael Kruger. Gets the ball out towards Graham Woods, but the ball goes over and out of bounds with the current score on the scoreboard. Hamilton 11-4 leading South Gambier 6-13 at the 25-minute mark of the third quarter.
Gone to 25 in the third as David called it. 21 points the margin in favour of the Magpies. The Demons have got all the work to do. They're trying to work it back this time, but great play that time by number 25 was in fact Lilburn. They get it forward, South Gambier sitting underneath it. This man McGinley, by golly, how are you going to pick a best player for Hamilton?
Oh, Jim.
They've all played well. McGinley, Hando, Pollock, sensational stuff. McGinley from defence in towards the centre of the ground. Big lead by Jewell. You'll need to take it. You made the lead. Crashed hard that time he was. They jump on top of him. Pollock got it out towards Lang. The hand pass Templeton to McCarthy. They build from here to Hamilton into that left forward pocket. The running player out there is Woods. He can't gather. The ball eludes him, and we'll have a throw in deep in the forward line for the Hamilton Magpies, the left forward flank. Gee, they're receiving of the ball, they're giving of the ball, they're very quick.
Very good in short today, Hamilton, haven't they? Like, their hands have been very good in short and very quick.
Throw in, deep in that left forward flank. The Demons want a couple before three-quarter time to be even close. Lilburn steadies, left foot kick is not bad, it'll just miss to the left. And another behind on the board, this time to Hamilton Imperials, who got to 11-5-71 to South Gambier 6-13-49. The margin back to 22 points. We saw in the seconds grand final, East were able to attack to that right-hand goal in the last quarter and win the game, so it's well within the Demons' capability. I don't think the conditions are going to be a huge factor, although the defensive side of the ground is where Johnny Clayton goes now. Looking out there for McGregor, runs loose. Adam Salmons battled very hard. Got it off to McGregor. Right foot kick just wobbles towards half forward, in fact out of bounds on the full. And then the Hamilton boys through McGinley or Woods will clear this one.
Talk about the 1% things, Jim, and that's the area today that Hamilton have perhaps beaten South, and yet all year that's been one of South Gambier's trademarks.
Well, I guess Peter Sims would look at this game at the moment, up till now, and say, boy, the discipline of the side has not been good. And I guess that lets Peter down a little, because we know his status as a coach for sure. Bump is good that time. Someone taken out of the play. May have in fact been Hando, or was it
Graham Woods, I think, Jim.
Woods it may have been. He got a nice hip and shoulder, beautiful shirt front as he's down. And the trainers attend to him. They've stopped play for the moment. Now we'll get underway again. That might spark South Gambier. Beautiful hip and shoulder, nothing untoward in it. Sims goes against Woods. So it's not him on the ground, it's handed out. McGregor tried to get a kick on it, fell loose that time. Was it Salmon with the hand pass? Got it beautifully inside. Maybe Patzel, right foot in towards half forward. Capel's down there. He dives. They work it out beautifully. They do. Jewell this time on the receiving end. He'll work it through centre as they build out of the fence. The kick goes towards Templeton, who's got space on Sims. And the Magpies' precision in their foot passing, similar to Imperials last year. In towards half forward, Rook taken out of the play, wanted something, will get nothing. Duncan McGregor tidies up on left foot, back towards the centre. Sims a sit from behind, well read by Harris, but something's happened here. And we may have another blood rule. No, we've got to stop in play. They're gone for a stretcher. We're actually going into time on now. It's been blown because that Hamilton player on the far side of the ground, I suspect, and it may in fact, I don't know whether it's Crow or Hando, but he is down. Now, Hando's in the centre. He's okay. I'm looking for a player with
Woods
a glove.
Woods is down here, okay, Jim. So it's not Woods. I don't know who it is, Jim.
Riddle is coming on. Riddle is coming on. There's the player down for Hamilton with the one glove. Just go through.
Is Hando there, Jim?
Who's that, David?
Is Hando there?
Hando's there in the centre, number 9. Pollock is there. He's okay. I'm trying to pick up Crow. Now, Crow's here, number 6. He's fine. The man to his feet
it's
now.
It's not Johnny Hoof, the ruckman, is it?
I think it might be, David. Good call.
By gee, I tell you what, that'll really hurt him if it's Johnny Hoof.
I think it is number 42. He copped a beautiful hip and shoulder shirt front. Number 42, in fact. Colin Riddle may have to come back on. He's been off. Some cloud about his fitness. They're going to carry him on the stretcher.
South Gambier make a change. Dagger Harris comes back on for Michael Mullen, so Peter Sims ringing the changes here.
And is that Dr. Barney McCusker over there, David?
It looks like it might be.
Couldn't miss him, could you? Well, he's in good hands anyway. Johnny Hoof will be in good hands because the doc is out there. They'll bring him across the ground, and a slight hold-up obviously in play, but better to be safe than sorry. And a good call by the umps to allow this to happen. No effect on interchange. He goes off on a stretcher. He can come back on, no problem. 6-13, 11-5. What's important to the Magpies is they lead it by 22 points. Their ruckman will be carried off, but he did get to his feet again, and maybe he'll come back in the last quarter.
Jim, just one comment I'd like to make here, and it happens a lot in Western Border Football League. The camaraderie between the training staff from each of the clubs. If a player goes down and seriously hurt, it doesn't matter who they are, you generally find that both clubs generally get together, and as you can see here, the South Gambier trainers helping the Hamilton trainers bring the player from the ground. So, you know, generally they've got their own club at heart, but when there's someone who's injured, it's very good, and I don't think the medical staff that are involved with football clubs get enough accolades.
Yeah, good point, David, and they certainly are helping each other here. Number 12 on the ground getting some attention too for South Gambier, Michael Sims. And coming on, Colin Riddle, of course, as we called it. Hasn't looked 100% fit today coming in, but not a handy, well, a very handy replacement. If Johnny Hoof can't come back, Colin Riddle comes back on. 22 points the margin, the Magpies, and they look pretty comfortable, David.
Oh, yes, Jim.
No
they look
question.
very good at this stage, and Johnny Hoof has played a big part in the game, and they're going to miss him. By gee, I tell you what, just could allow Mick Ryan to perhaps play a big part, although I see Peter Sims has still got him off the ball and maybe saving him for the last quarter.
Indeed, you can understand he's rucked hard all day. We'll get underway again. The clock is on 30 minutes. There's still about 3 or 4 to play in this, the third. We're underway again. The Maggies by 22 points on KTV's production of the 96 Grand Final. Working hard is Sims. He'll get help this time from Munro. Works inside to Winterfield. Back towards half forward. The kick ill-directed yet again, and Brendan Lang cannot believe it. Just sits underneath, pops away to Templeton. And they run the clock down as they come on three-quarter time.
Be a good 5 minutes of time on though, Jim. This could go 35 minutes
easily.
This
Matty Templeton left foot towards half forward in front. That time Salmon comes to ground. Winterfield tidies up. They need a goal. Michael Fox couldn't hang on. Recovered very well, but then the hand pass wide. This time is better to Adderwell. He'll need to go straight down the middle. The kick's not good. Sitting under it, good defensive stuff. Hamilton Pollock works his way through the pack. Just weaves his way through. Hand pass off very nicely to Lilburn, who's running well. Hand pass wide towards Templeton. Try to work inside Sims. Good tackle by Sims, and then the holding the man decision is a very interesting one.
Matty Templeton, he's played a fine game on the wing, Jim. Has really controlled his wing very well. I thought him and Michael Sims have had a good battle. I think at this stage Templeton might be just in front. That man McCarthy again, but Matty Fear's got him. Great handball by Fear. Winterfield's had a few touches. Shotty Stevens always looks very cool, calm against the ball. Comes across to Riddle now. Back onto his right foot, but it'll fall in the arms of David Chant, who is playing very deep in defence for South Gambier. David Chant, handballs now to Darren Sims, having a run on the ball. Sims coming in towards big Leroy Capel. Underneath the ball, Leroy's got the second chance here. Gathers the ball beautifully off the ground, but there's the siren. Three-quarter time here at Vansittart Park in the 1996 Grand Final sees South Hamilton 11-5-71, leading South Gambier 6-13-49.
Umpire Kevin Farley gets us underway, and this is the final turn, the final quarter of football for 1996 in the Western Border League. And the Magpies take a 23-point lead into this final quarter. They go forward, do the Demons though. Underneath at that time, good defensive work by Hamilton, comes loose. Here's Dagger Harris, the first goal of the last quarter will help the Demons. Dagger Harris lets fly on that southern goal. It looks okay, David Case, and the Demons score their first goal of the second half.
And not only that, who was the player that got the ball out? Capel. You know, I think it's a very good move by Peter Sims by putting Leroy in the middle of the ground there, because his bulk will allow the packs to be opened up. Also, Darren Sims' spring in there might be able to help. And Mick Ryan's playing at centre half forward with his bulk. This could be the kick that, you know, like that's the goal South need. Just maybe they now will project themselves and go forward again.
17 points the margin. 7 goals, 12 to 11 goals, 5. The first of the last quarter, but now Hamilton work it out of the centre in response by Hando. Big kick towards that defensive side. McCarthy and Fear. It's a foot race over there, and the ball will beat them both over the boundary line for a throw in. 7-12-54, 11-5-71.
It'll be interesting now to see how much Hamilton missed big Johnny Hoof, their ruckman there, Jim.
Well, you listened in to Riddle at three-quarter time, David. What did he say?
Well, Jim, he just urged his players to be disciplined. He said they aimed for 40 tackles, and he said they hadn't quite got it. That's what they were aiming for, and they wanted to reach that target. If they could do that, he believed they could win the grand final.
Well, the bonus goal started the last quarter as Riddle kicks it in. McCarthy's unattended. Explain that one to me, David Case.
Well, Jim, he just stood there on his own, and a beautiful kick by Riddle. Beautiful weighted kick there by Colin Riddle. Found him lace out, standing on his own. But I tell you what, I wouldn't like to be backing my life on McCarthy's kicking style.
It's an important kick for Hamill. If he kicks this, they respond, and we go back to the same margin. Now it's a shocker, way off the side of the boot. David nominated that one. In fact, out on the full by the player McCarthy that time, Justin McCarthy. Number 26 for the Magpies. The margin 17 points. We've got a ball game. KTV production of the 1996 Western Border League Grand Final from Vansittart Park. Kick out by Witherfield is long. Back to the centre. Kaz McCarthy again. He can redeem himself from there. Hooks it round on the right foot. Here's a chance for Lilburn. Got it wide to the captain coach. Is it or is it Woods? Woods got the ball to Kruger. Kruger lets go on that northern goal, but he's offline. It'll go through for a behind. 11-6-72. Hamilton 7-12. 54. 18-point margin in favour of the Hamilton Magpies.
This is going to be a very tough struggle here, Jim. Now you'll find that South Gambier will not go down. They will fight right to the end, and don't be surprised if they come back very strongly. Here's the ball in the middle of the pack. McCarthy's on the end of it again. Quick kick around his body, and if ever you wanted a man to have a kick, Jim, it'd be Shoddy Stevens, wouldn't it? Inside, say, what, 35, 40 metres. Perhaps one of the best kicks, but he short passes in. Once again, players unmarked. And we have Martin Lilburn, who's unmarked, not in a much better position, but about 5 or 10 metres closer.
So Lilburn will kick from possibly the most difficult spot on the ground. The breeze is coming hard at him. He needs to start it way left and hook it back. Let's see. Educated kick from Lilburn or not. Stabs at it. Looks okay off the boot. Might have done enough. I think it has. The Hamilton fans are up.
Hit the post,
hit
Jim.
the post. 1 point only, and South Gambier live again. 11-7-73. Hamilton to 7-12-54. South Gambier. Kick in by John Clayton. He needs to go up the middle. Attack, 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 Demons. It's your only chance. Lovely kick by Clayton towards the square. Big grab, Ryan. And if anyone can lift him, he can. Hand pass to Winterfield. Wobbles the boot. Wobbles the ball rather off the boot. Tapped that time by Fox. Went towards Salmon. Fox went hard again. Took him too high. And free kick to Stephen Gill. He'll feed it off nicely to McGinley, who's been wonderful. The kick on left foot by McGinley in front. Riddle. And he should be paid and will be paid. This is Big Colin. Remember, Johnny Hoof off the ground. Colin Riddle now's chance to stand up and stand tall, and he'll go premiership back to back if the Magpies get up today. Colin Riddle. Right foot kick way inside 50. Glenn in front, Ryan in front of him, and they defend well the D's. Long hand pass goes out.
This is what South
towards the running player in Batzel. Batzel runs through the centre, has his second. Should kick now and does. Long towards half forward. Players making an attack. Harris bounce wanted here. It eludes McGinley. Finally got it back and did it very coolly in the end. Boots it wide, running onto it. Salmon's got room. If he gets a good bounce and does, should go over the top to Harris. Harris might draw Hando. In fact, it's not. It's Gill. Kicks in short, and Fox has got it, and the youngster's going to kick from 35.
Nice goal kicker too, Foxy. Led the goal kicking in the Western Border under-18s 2 years ago, and generally a very nice kick for goal. Is a traditional goal kicker, Michael.
This to
Fox.
bring it back to 13. It'll be 13 points, Michael, on this kick. It is going to miss left. In fact, may have been marked. No, it is through for a behind, the call down there, and so the margin doesn't come within 13, it goes back in.
South Gambier have come out better, Jim, haven't they? They've bounced out of the blocks much better now. They seem to have a bit more run in their play. And
but they need the next one, David.
Yes, Jim, they certainly do.
7-13-55, 11-7-73. The Magpies lead it. And we've played, well, about 5 minutes, I'd say, a little longer. And this is the last quarter. The kick in is long from Kameen. Players wanted. Colin Riddle got rid of a couple in and wasn't penalised. Here's Woods, who's been handy. Great bump on him by Capewell. He felt that one. Here's Ryan going after it, but getting in front that time. Good defensive work out there by number 24, Michael Pollock. Goes to ground. Hand pass it goes from Capewell. Capewell inside Salmon. Salmon fires on that southern goal. I think he might have kicked it, and the Demons are not dead yet, David. They're back in the ball game.
And once again, who had the influence, Jim? Capewell's severe bulk and his sheer determination at the body here on the point of the square. Then went over another contest, got the ball out to 7, and I said earlier on, Capewell's had a huge influence on this game in the last 5 or 10 minutes.
8-13-61 the Demons, 11-7-73 the 2 goals. The first 2 goals of this the final term have gone to the Demons. We have a game on our hands on KTV production of the 1996 Western Border League Grand Final. Riddle's in ruck, Ryan wins the hit. Here's a chance for Fox, the youngsters lifted. Kicks with the right foot, wobbles at the half forward. Mullen goes high, takes a spectacular one-hand grab. And things starting to work for the D's.
Now, Jim.
Big kick, Mullen goes in towards the forward line. A good tack on the ball. Kameen, he's been terrific down there. He's earned a free kick and will play advantage. He breaks from half back and kicks to that defensive wing. McCarthy's been in front of Fear in the last couple of occasions. The kick wobbles. Sitting underneath the number 21 was Chant back there. Eludes him. Here's a chance. Cleared up nicely. Patzel goes into the centre. The Salmon who's lifted. The kick could go to Ryan. He needs a good, well, he needs the ball to be flighted, and it was. Needs to go now. Got it off to Ottawa, which was good vision. Boots it wide, grandstand side in front. Sims and takes it. Darren Sims to drive the Demons long. They try and work it back. They're within 12.
Tired though, Hamilton.
Good grab by Stephen Jewell. In front that time the mark by number 21 for Hamilton, and they do it well defensively. Michael Kruger, he's been handy. Kick by Kruger in front of the grandstand. Glenn in front, didn't quite grab it. Good work that time by number 32 Patzel. Chips away short, and he's found Sims. Sims to drive them long, and he does within scoring distance. Look out, Leroy went high. Comes to Capewell. He works it onto his hand pass. He got the hand pass, and they fumble at that time down there. It was a big chance for South Gambier. They got in each other's way. Leroy had done the hard work. Now can they rebound Hamilton? They works inside Salmon. Shotty Stevens holds it up and kicks it nicely to Lilburn, and Lilburn will steady them down defensive side of centre. Good work, Stevens. Very cool to Lilburn, who's been a handy player as well. Gee, that was a big chance for the Demons.
Yes, certainly was, Jim.
Kick towards half forward for Hamilton. Good spoil. Great off hands McCarthy. Can he break the tackle? He does. He drives inside 50. Back that time, one-handed mark to Graham Woods. And Woods will kick from only about 25, 30 metres.
This could be the most important kick of the grand final here, Jim.
Well, from being 12 points to difference, it could go out to 18. Almost a 2-goal turnaround this time. Graham Woods has kicked 2. Kicked 2 in the third. Hamilton haven't kicked a goal in this last quarter. South have kicked 2. The kick from Graham Wood. The crowd await on it. Well, there's been some important ones, but Graham Wood can just increase the cushion at about the 10.5-minute mark. Wood to kick on that northern goal. The wind blowing hard at him. Across his shoulder. He kicks. He starts at left, which is the place to go, but far too far behind the pack. Who wants it this time? Lilburn works hard. It'll go over the boundary line for a throw-in. Deep in attack for the Magpies. That time it was Michael Kruger, in fact, not Lilburn. Throw in to take place, left forward pocket.
Very evident how strong the wind was there, Jim. Riddle and Ryan now, the 2 big men, contest the ball here. In the last quarter here, the grand final. Handball comes out towards Hamilton. A quick kick away there by number 21 for Hamilton, Michael Kruger. Johnny Clayton, and he's been tripped. Kevin Farley in position will pay the free kick to Johnny Clayton.
I thought he was going to give holding the ball, David.
Yes, no, I think it was a good decision, Jim. He grabbed him around the bottom of the legs, had no way of getting clear. Johnny Clayton kicks across the ground here to where Michael Winterfield's on his own, the racehorse. Comes around on his right foot now, comes through the middle of the centre corridor, looking for Wayne Glenn. But Wayne Glenn takes a very good mark there. Too late in was Hando. Glenny, right in the middle of the ground here at Vanceta Park as Michael Mullen comes back and Matty Fear takes a spell. Michael Mullen's come onto the ground now and will create the loose man here. He's caught Hamilton unaware. Michael Mullen takes the ball away from Foxy. Michael Mullen on the lead now to Dagger Harris. Good spoiling tactics there by Hamilton. Dion Rook, good hands by who was it there, Jim? I lost track of who it was. Duncan McGregor. Great tackle by Hamilton. Comes across to Munro, ducks his head. Lovely smother there by Shotty Stevens. Graham Pollock clears the ball. Big Riddle now takes the ball through. Duncan McGregor couldn't get him. Nice pass into Hando in the middle of the ground. Hamilton now attacked down through the middle of the ground. One of the fewer times that they haven't reached the target. Patzel's had 4 or 5 possessions now in this quarter. Gets the ball out wide now. Free kick downfield.
And there may be a yellow card. Will there be? No, there will not be.
Duncan McGregor will take the free kick on the centre wing. Duncan McGregor now drives the ball deep for South Gambier.
Long in towards half forward. Rook got the front position behind us. Kevin Harris. No, it wasn't. It was Fox. This time, Brian Harris to Kevin Harris. There's a goal in the ball game. Did it miss? It did, I think. It missed right. And the margin is back to 11 points. Goodness gracious me. Kevin Harris got it from Brian Harris, the two big guns of the competition, the two Harris boys for South Gambier. We're going to game now, 8-14, 62, 11, 7, 73. The margin is 11 points. What a humdinger as the Demons fight back in the 1996 Grand Final on KTV Productions. Keen to bring it in. David Case, this game is up for grabs.
What have we got, Jim? We've got 11 points now in favour of Hamilton, and by gee, I tell you what, the South Gambier are really showing their true character here, Jim, that's for sure.
Fighting back, the breaks will need to go one way or the other for a win because it's getting pretty close to call now. 11 points to margin. Gee, that's a good grab out there by Woods, I think.
No, down Rook, I think, Jim.
Yep, good call, David. He chips away short. And a good mark out there by Crow.
He's played well too, Jim. Crow.
Very handy. 11-point lead. The breeze is across the ground, slightly left of screen, so if any Hamilton have got it, but it hasn't stopped scoring at either end.
On the wrong side too, Jim, I reckon.
Kick in towards half forward, Pollock. Gee whiz, they'll cheer this guy off if they win it. He's been a fantastic player. 8-14, 62, 11, 7, 73. The Magpies by 11 points. Left foot kick from Pollock. Well inside 50. They all come from behind. Templeton gathers. He's dragged down just. It comes towards Lang. The ball bounces clear of him and over the line. Well, through for a behind, in fact. And Lang demonstrates, in fact, with Clayton.
What a magnificent tackle just to drag him down. Just as he kicked, it looked like Templeton had broke free.
8-14, 11-8, David Case, 12 points.
There's some tired legs now, Jim. There's some tired legs now.
Remembering South Gambier have had the rest. Hamilton have come through the preliminary final on heavy grounds. Will it tell in the last minutes? Harris has lifted. That's Kevin. The running player is Winterfield. They stream through the centre. Umpire got in the way of Darren Sims then. The kick wasn't good into the forward line, though. Here's Hando. Tries to work inside that time. Great tackle, and he'll get the... In fact, in the end, they did hold the play up, but Hando will get the free kick. Not a bad tackle in the end that time from Justin Munro. He did have to stop him because Hamilton were going forward. No damage done. Still plenty of time for the Demons to get the lead and win the grand final. They trail by 12 points. Inside 50. Chant comes loose. South Gambier got numbers, but they can't find the footy. Comes behind the pack again. Templeton hard in there. In fact, it was Pollock again. He goes to ground. We'll have a throw in right half forward. Inside 50 for the Magpies.
Boundary line throw in now, Jim, inside the 50-metre mark for Hamilton here in the last quarter here at Vansittart Park in the 1996 Grand Final. Up goes Riddle and Mick Ryan. Comes out to McCarthy, but the ball's pinned to his chest by a very, very good tackle there by Michael Mullen, and the ball once again will be bounced down by Kevin Farley. 36 very tired players out there, Jim, but they'll give it all right to the end. Big Mick Ryan, no wonder he's a medalist. He's still in there battling his heart out. The ball comes out here to Mickey Mullen. Good contest here between McGinley and Fox. McGinley uses experience and just pushes Fox away from the ball and lets the ball go over the boundary line. Tell you what, Jim, the next 3 or 4 minutes, if South Gambier can score again, we will have one ball game on our hands.
Praying for a goal, David, to make it a contest. Throw in on that outer side. Ryan in front, Riddle from behind. That's Colin back on the ground. Johnny Hoof was stretched it off in that third quarter towards the end. He hasn't made a reappearance at this stage. Coming on, number 32 for South Gambier, Matty Patson will come on shortly. There'll be an interchange move made by Peter Sims, and it's 12 points the difference. Throw in high. Ryan got it down beautifully. Inside that time, Sims couldn't get his kick. Atterwell did it very well. Templeton to tidy up for Hamilton. Works it backwards to McGinley. Hand pass is good to Jewell. Jewell works inside. Back that time towards... Riddle, was it? Riddle kicks long towards half forward. Over the top of Colin Riddle. He got a good bounce. Went without it, did Mullen. Beautiful work, Lang. Got it to Lilburn. Lilburn's got an open player in Gill. He didn't give it to him. It's 2-on-1. Clayton got a vital punch. Come to the ground. Picked up by Woods. Hooked over the shoulder. And I think he has missed.
Oh, Jim, that was shocking play. Like, Gill was like, what, 10 metres on his own.
Had to put it
All he had to do was handball the ball to him. Instead of that, he tried to take 3 players on.
Goodness gracious me. Well, they could have sewn it up, but they've got a 13-point lead, David. That's a very handy point in a way. Kick in by Clayton is long down the centre where he has to go. He's looking for Mick Ryan. Go for the big guns when in trouble. Glenn needs to lift and did that time. A beautiful feeding handball that time through the centre go. Sims towards Capewell, punched away beautifully by Stevens. Good defensive work on Capewell. Leroy will get another chance. Tries to bullock through and does. Can he kick a miraculous goal? Leroy! Capewell and the Demons draw 6 points closer.
And how good has Capewell been, Jim? How good has he been? He's been sensational.
Let's give you a score check, David. It's 9-14, 68, 11-9, 75. The margin is 7 points.
How crucial was the handball up here, the give to the player on his own when the Hamilton players tried to take 3 blokes on to try to beat him.
There's Leroy on screen. It was big run by the big fella. He looks puffed, but I bet the ball comes his way again. He'll get it. No doubt about that. We're back in the centre, 68 to 75. The Demons down by 7 points. They work out of the centre. Beautiful hand pass came to Munro. Long ball to Harris. He dives on it. Defensive players there. Kameen does very well for Hamilton. They work it to the boundary line. And it's the last man standing affair, the 96 grand final on KTV Productions. What a humdinger from Vanceta Park.
Hamilton have got their heads down a bit now, Jim. They look very, very tired. This is when it's going to take a big, you know, like big contest down there. Missing Johnny Huff out there, Jim. Don't you worry about that.
Riddle got the ball out that time to Pollock. Pollock got it to McGinley. McGinley goes for the safety of the boundary line. I reckon we've got about 10 minutes to play, David.
Yes,
there's still time.
The score clock's not working, so we've been let down a little bit by them today. But
we're guessing, folks, but it's a 7-point ball game.
Boundary line throw in. Riddle and Mick Ryan. Mick Ryan's had a big influence on the game in the last few years. It comes out here now. Kevin Harris gets a very important touch. Big contest here now. Winterfield players throw themselves in on the ball here, and the umpire Farley will come in and bounce it up. And Hamilton now will be trying to lock this game up, and South Gambier will be trying to spring the ball free at every opportunity that they possibly can.
9-14, 11-9.
Harris, Capewell, they're the players that South Gambier need now. Mick Ryan, Duncan McGregor, up they go. Ryan, Riddle. Actually, Ryan's having a field day there now in those clinches. McGinley fumbles for the first time. Swoops in on the ball, does Michael Fox. Cross to Munro. Munro now drives the ball in. Capewell, Stevens. Capewell takes it on the chest. And he's too strong, too big for Shotty Stevens. And Capewell, he could be the man to turn this game around, Jim. There's no doubt about that. The man is capable. He is an absolute hero at South Gambier. If he can kick this goal, you bet your life. South Gambier are on a roll.
South Gambier crowd come alive. Leroy starts it right, but I think he might have kicked it. He has indeed. We've got to point the difference. 10-14, 74 South Gambier. Hamilton are 11 goals, 9-75. There's a point in the ball game, folks, and the Demons crowd come alive on KTV Productions. Whoa, 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 hang on to your hats. This game ain't over yet, fellas. There's a point the difference. The Hamilton Magpies are clinging to a point lead.
Plenty of time,
the South Gambier Demons coming from behind, 10-14, 11-9. Whoa, you're going to enjoy the last 5 minutes of this game, David Case.
The centre bounce, 1 point in front of the Hamilton Magpies. They've led all day. Riddle and Ryan. And it's Sims now. Sims gets over the top. Munro's been very good in this quarter. Gets the ball out, throws it away, but Kevin Farley makes a very good decision and is holding the ball with a good tackle by the captain himself, none other than Wayne Riddle. Riddle
1
now
point the difference.
kicks the ball deep inside of 50 metres, looking for his brother, and he takes a great mark out in front of Richie Adderwall, and that's a very, very good mark indeed by Colin Riddle.
Gee, that was gutsy and timely too, but the Maggies do look a little tired, David, as you called it.
Colin Riddle. Can he bring the ball right? He's well outside of 50, Jim, and that Breeze is fairly strong now, taking his time, trying to find someone. Hando's dropped out of the game, as has Pollock, Jim, and those players. That first half might be taking its time. There's a tired kick for you, Jim. The ball comes forward. Harris comes out here now. Here's that man in Gill. He kicked 4 goals in the first half, but South Gambier underneath it in Adam Salmon, Jim. They want to play. They got run in their legs. Look at this here now. Johnny Clayton makes a break, but Matthew Templeton is crashed down by Johnny Clayton.
Good call by Kevin Farley. It was a tough one. Does he let it run or does he pay the free kick? Good call, Kevin Farley.
But I think Johnny Clayton did the right thing too, Jim. He had to make the contest.
No question it was going to be a Hamilton mark, David.
Templeton. And a great mark by Riddle. Play on! He's called play on, the umpire. Handball by Gill. This is a chance for Hamilton. 21, he's Kruger. Didn't know what to do with it, Jim. And a good punch away there by Richie Adderall.
A point the difference in the 1996 Grand Final on KTV Productions at 74-75, 10-14, 11-9, and the Magpies have the ball exactly where they want it. The ball thrown in. They lead by a point. The Demons are coming home with a wet sail. They work it out of the fence. Wide towards that scoreboard side. It's a foot race. Templeton runs on it. Michael Fox will shepherd this time for Sims. The boundary line will win out in front of McGinley. And we'll have a throw in on the outer side right in front of the scoreboard. 10-14, 74, 11-9, 75. The Maggies by a point in a humdinger of a grand final on KTV Productions. Western Border Grand Final 96. Last man standing affair. It's kicked forward by Hamilton and David. The tragedy of this game is there may have to be a loser.
We might see a draw yet, Jim. We might have to come back next week and do it all again.
Well, that's going to be fascinating. 10-14, 74, 11-9, 75. They've battled their hearts out, the players on each side. Time is running out. We're not too sure how long to go. The scoreboard clock has stopped. To boundary line it goes. Great tackle. We'll have a bounce. The Magpies tie it up. We've got a point the difference, 74-75. 10-14, 11-9. We have 7 minutes on the clock. 7 minutes remaining on the clock. 10-14, 11-9. You're watching 1996 Grand Final from Vansittart Park in the Western Border League, brought to you by KTV. Works it clear to Hamilton, running on the left foot, kick across goal. Hamilton everywhere. The mark is taken by the captain coach.
Well, mate, if you want the ball and you're coaching a side and you're playing, you'd want it at this stage of the game, wouldn't you?
Whoa, you'd love to have it, and he has got it. The margin will go out to 7 points. Still plenty of time. I noticed Peter Sims has just gone down the race into the club rooms. Interesting stuff. Not watching at the minute. Maybe we hope nothing's too wrong there with anyone, but Peter Sims quickly went down the race as Wayne Riddle, the captain coach, kicks on that northern goal, and he's missed out on the full.
Tired kick.
Gee whiz, I guess you were down on the ground three-quarter time, David. What was that wind like?
It was pretty swirly out there, Jim, and I'm saying it's definitely favouring South Gambier. The kick in by Johnny Clayton. He'll bring the ball in. He'll no doubt look for Mick Ryan. Here's Big Mick. The contest will be strong. Big Riddle. Mick Ryan's big body. Beautiful skills, Mick Ryan. Gets the ball free. How they look very tired now, does Hamilton. Michael Sims. Michael Mullen gets the ball. Here's the man of the moment, Capewell. There he is again, Jim. And he can kick this. He's a beautiful kick. Sims is running free on his own, but Capewell's kicked it, Jim. There's no doubt. Oh!
We're a tie, David. We're drew. It's a draw. 10-15, 11-9. The scores are tied away. 75-75. Do we go to overtime, David Case, or will we come back next week? Well, what a humdinger of a finish. 10-15, 11-9. This is sensational stuff at Vansittart Park. Will we get a draw in the 1996 Grand Final? The last time there was a draw, these two teams played in 1981. Unbelievable. Will history repeat itself? Kicked in wide. Oh! Sensational grab by Rook. Hand pass wide, it goes to Kameen. The Magpies are trying to work forward. Free kick should be paid and will be paid to Templeton against Salmon that time. And Mullen, it may have been out there. We're under 5 to play. The kick goes in towards the centre. In front is Riddle, got in front. In front of him, in fact, was Woods. The Magpies will go forward. Important play coming up now. Is that an understatement? 10-15, 11-9. If you don't mind, the kick will come forward from Woods. He needs to move it a little quicker because South Gambier get back. Long thumping right foot drop punt. Underneath the ball was Glenn. He was nudged out. Play on. They'll call for a bounce, and the umpires have a very important task in this next couple of minutes. They've done a terrific job, I believe, too, David.
There's some very, very, very nervous South Gambier supporters, Jim.
This is sensational. We've got 10-15, 75 to 11-9, 75. From behind it went high. Woods got a kick out of the pack. A point will do it. Underneath it is Charney. Knocks the ball away. Good defensive stuff to the boundary line. The boundary wins out in front of Michael Mullen that time as he took it over. And anything could happen here, folks. We're closing in on full time. It's 10-15 to 11-9. We have a tie at Vansittart Park. Big finish coming up now. The ball given to Pollock. He hooks it round his body. In front that time. Good play by Clayton. He saved the day for South Gambier. They work it out. He's got no free kick. Has kicked away by Munro. Running for the ball out here. That time was Kruger. Kruger got over the top of Mullen. He'll give it back inside the Riddle. Riddle will kick from 50. No, he won't. He'll work it inside the Hamilton Magpies. Last thrust. The kick from Jewell. It'll be a score. No, it won't. It's punched away. A chance for Patzel. Back to Ryan. A long ball inside the chart. They're working away, the Demons, when they look gone. Underneath the ball, that time the mark almost taken by Matzel. He'll have a bounce. 10 yards he goes. 20 yards he goes. He goes through the centre square. Time slowing down. It goes towards Capewell. Not interfere with McGinley. Will tidy up. We may have a draw, David. It goes to McGinley. McGinley to defensive outer side of the ground in front of the scoreboard. It's all Hamilton. Andrew Gill, who's kicked 4 first half goals. He kicks it back towards half forward. Behind is Glenn. Free kick given. Yes, it is. Free kick will go to Woods. And the Magpies will come again at the Demons. When it looked as if the Demons might go forward. Graham Woods from just outside 50. It's a thumping kick in towards that left forward, right forward pocket. Ryan got a fist on it. Saved the day again for South Gambier. And what a game we've got. 10-15-75 to 11-9-75.
Might be back here next week. We know AFL Grand Final. Have to cancel the AFL Grand Final.
It is sensational stuff. Almost taken out there. That could be holding the ball. No, it's not holding the ball. There's a ruling on that one. If you take it out of the ruck contest and you grab, you run the risk. But Kevin Farley, cool head, says, I will bounce the ball.
Bounce of the ball here. Mick Ryan and Riddle. 2 line-hard efforts. Over the top comes Woods. The ball's in contest. Comes out by Patzel. Here's a chance for South Gambier. Good spoil. Up comes Duncan McGregor. What can we have here? Sims versus Rook. Rook gets in front. There's Pollock. Tackled beautifully by Sims. The ball's free. Comes free against South Gambier in there. Players throw themselves recklessly at the ball, and umpire Craig McAllister will bounce the ball right in the middle of the ground.
In 1981, it was a draw, Hamilton and South Gambier at Coleraine. Coleraine no longer in the competition, and we're level at Bedsitter Park, 75 apiece.
Here's it goes, coming in towards Leroy Capewell. And Kameen looks tired. Good tackle. Great tackle. Mullins throw the ball up. The umpires have thrown the whistle away. Dagger Harris. Capewell. Can he make a hero? No. Does it. Kevin Harris. It's over. South Gambier have won the 1996 Grand Final. Kevin Harris. That man Capewell. But the ball started back in the middle of the ground back here with the South Gambier backline. They were under all sorts of pressure. But through pure persistence, they've got the ball down, and Kevin Harris has kicked the goal to put South Gambier 6 points in front.
Capewell to Sims to Kevin Harris. I think it was Kevin. In the excitement, it was one of them.
But
and
Jim,
it's 11-15.
You must feel sorry for Hamilton. They've been in front all day, Jim. But Johnny Hoof, when he went off the ground, that was a very vital blow to the Hamilton football
Well, you called
club.
it, David. You said it was a significant move. Hoof going off. Wayne Riddle in the middle trying to get his charges to fire up as the ball is slowly coming back. I reckon we've got about a minute. There might be still time for Hamilton. We could still yet have a draw, but they have to kick a goal. It's 11-15, 11-9, 11-15, 81 the Demons, 11-9, 75. Hamilton, the Magpies have been gallant today, in front all day for most of it anyway, and they've certainly battled hard. We have got a minute to go. Ball up in the centre again. No, Mullen almost got it out. They'll fall on top of it. 20 tired bodies on the ground now, and we have a bounce down in the centre square, almost dead centre. It's Ryan will go up against Riddle. Hamilton and South Gambier. What a game it's been. Knocked on. Here's the Ox. He'll clear it down in towards that forward line. He might have done enough. In front is Dagger Harris. It fell to Rook. Rook on the left foot goes McGinley, and McGinley's been sensational. What a very good kick from Rook.
To have got enough time, Hamilton.
The kick is long.
Sensational here.
From McGinley. We're running down to about 30 seconds as Kevin Harris picks it up. I reckon the Demons are home. Harris kicks in short looking for his brother. McGinley's in the way and he takes the mark, and Kevin Harris is not happy with the kick. Brian McGinley.
Great punch by Johnny Clayton then, Jim. Done a good job back there, Johnny Clayton, since coming on.
The kick from McGinley to Jewell. Jewell will be paid it. No, not paid it. He goes on after it. There's the siren. The Demons have won it by a goal. 11-15, 81 South Gambier to Hamilton, 11-9, 75. The Hamilton Magpies have gone down, but I can tell you, David Case, they certainly lost no friends today. Hamilton sensational in defeat.
They were absolutely brilliant, Jim. They led all day except the last part of the game. But I can tell you something, Jim, that the finals campaign of Hamilton, the amount of finals they played, certainly took its toll on them in the end. And that The coaching move of Peter Sims putting Capel into first of all the middle of the ground, then pushing him forward. He was the player that turned the game around.
Well,
Jim,
the final scoreline, David, 11-15-81 South Gambier. They're premiers for 96 to Hamilton, 11-9-75 best players.
Well, Jim, before we say that, I'd like to compliment the umpires, Farley and McAllister. I thought they did a very, very good job, particularly when the game got tight. They threw their whistles away towards the end and just didn't bother to blow the whistle, let the players play the game. That's what grand finals are about, and they were certainly sensational out there today, and congratulations to the two boys in white.
Well, let's go Hamilton first. You'd have to be gee, they were unfortunate. There had to be a loser, but the Demons coming home hard in that final quarter. Best players, David, for Hamilton.
Well, Jim, I find it very hard to go past Pollock. I thought he was absolutely sensational all day. I thought he did a wonderful job, and he certainly played very, very well. Coming down the list, Andrew Gill was good early. Dion Rook was there all day. Jim, he played took some wonderful marks and relieved the pressure many, many a time. McGinley and Kameen were both sensational in the back half. They played very, very well indeed. Hando was good too, Jim. I thought he played very well in patches. Woods was another good player. But overall, I think for Hamilton, I would give my best player definitely to, who did I say? I've lost me. Oh, Michael Pollock, Jim, was definitely the best player for Hamilton.
Hando, and I just feel for Wayne Riddle. I know he was a premiership player last year, captain coach of Hamilton this year, had the final shot on goal for them. He really needed to score a big one. He had the opportunity, didn't go his way, but of course he's tasted premiership glory before. For South Gambier, well, I guess Leroy's got to get a mention. Number one, Leroy Capewell was fantastic. I thought Attawell's last quarter was superb. Mick Ryan all day, just terrific. Their back line was very, very solid. Young Michael Fox came on and did very well. It was a fantastic performance by South Gambier in the end, and I guess you'd put it down to a team effort. But final score on KTV Productions of the 1996 Western Border League Grand Final, 11-15, 11-9.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives a great honour to start presenting the medals to the South Gambier Football Club, premiers for 1996. Well done, fellas.
We'll call the players up in the number order. Number one, Lee Capewell. Number two, Richard Attawell. Number three, Wayne Glynn. Number 8, Michael Mullen. Michael Mullen. Michael Mullen. Number 10, Michael Fox. Number 10, Michael Fox. Number 11, Duncan McGregor. Number 12, Michael Sims. Before they go. Number 13, Michael Ryan. Number 13, Michael Ryan. '15, Mark Whitterfield. Number 16, Jason Han. Number 19, Adam Salmon. Number 20, Darren Sims. Number 21, David Chant. Number 22, Paul Mullen. Number 25, John Clayton. Number 32, Matthew Patzel. Number 34, Justin Munro. Number 38, Matthew Fear. Number 46, Brian Harris. The South Gambier runner, Bradley Patzel. Brad Patzel. No, Brad Patzel. The runner. The runner. Kevin Harris and Peter Sims. Best player. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the best player on the ground, and I don't think anyone would disagree with this, had a magnificent final series, David Hando.
You're all right. No, you're all right. David, on behalf of the Victorian Country Football League, it gives me a great deal of pleasure to present you with this medallion. And although commiserations are in order, this perhaps is some consolation for the great game you've had in the great series. Well done. Good. Do you want to?
I'd just like to congratulate South, they're a magnificent side, well done, fellas. Commiserations to our guys, have a good night tonight, eh?
Thank you, David. You want me to do this now? Ladies and gentlemen, again on behalf of the Victorian Country Football League and Alexander and Alexandra, who are the Country Football League insurers, again they've seen fit to make a trophy available for the coach of the winning team. And it's a great pleasure, Peter, if you'd come and accept the trophy on behalf of South. Yeah. Well done. Well done. A great effort, I think 2 out of 3 years. Well done, Peter.
Peter and Kevin. Ladies and gentlemen, the Glenelg Football Club will now present the Premiership pennant. Mr. John Oakley.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We've just witnessed a magnificent game of football, and I think both teams should be congratulated on the way they played the game. It's my pleasure to present the pennant to South Gambier Football Club.
Ladies and gentlemen, as the Hamilton Football Club go off the ground to the Barry Pollock, the president of the club, Wayne Riddle as the coach of the club. Congratulations, boys, a magnificent effort. You're justifiably grand finalists. Congratulations. It is tremendous honour on behalf of the great effort to the South Gambier Football Club. It is an honour to present the Claude Emerson Premiership Cup to the coach of the side, Peter Sims. And I think it's just highly deserving that the president of the South Gambier Football Club, a magnificent man, and I was told that this might be his last. I hope it is not. But Keith Dixon, on behalf of the Western Border League, the Premiership Cup for 1996. Well done, Keith.
Thanks, commiserations to Wally Riddle and the Hamilton blokes. It was a terrific game of football, and you know, we was down and out for a while, and then they come back again, and just a fantastic effort by the South players, and well done. Thank you.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks very much for attendance today. Magnificent effort. The president of the South Gambier Football Club, Mr. Keith Dixon.
Thank you, Norm, and thank you, commiserations to Hamilton, and just fellas, Peter Sims and boys, you were just great, and thank you.
Peter, first of all, congratulations. I thought that for 3 quarters that Hamilton really did shut you down, but obviously the fresh leagues and maybe the finals campaign that Hamilton had leading into it took pay, but your players were just sensational in the last quarter.
Thanks, David. It was terrific in the last quarter. I think Hamilton really had outplayed us, you know, on quite a few occasions throughout the first 3 quarters, and I thought they matched up very well against us, and you were correct in that they shut us down. We got into that stop-start kicking caper, which doesn't suit our game, and we always did have it in the back of our minds that we had to be around the mark at 3-quarter time, not necessarily 4 goals, 1 or 2 away like we were, but we were hoping to be around the 1 or 2 goals. But look, these blokes were terrific. You know, Lee Capewell, sensational. I mean, he's told me he nearly didn't play at the start of the year because he was that devastated about doing the wrong thing last year, being sent off. It was his 2nd time in a grand final in 2 years, and he repaid in a big way today.
Peter, just one thing, Jimmy spoke to you earlier on, we've got to find out, because people will be wanting to know now, 10-minute mark of the last quarter, why did you end the race, Pete?
As you two blokes well know, it's always a little bit one of those nervous wheeze, mate, and it happened to me a couple of years ago, it happened to me again today.
Peter, you're going to take all the credit for putting Capel in the forward line?
No, definitely not all the credit. I think that comes back to, you know, chairman of selectors in Steve Rothwell. He's always been a great advocate for getting Leroy up forward, but I must admit we have done it on a number of occasions throughout the year, and it certainly worked.
Peter, your thoughts when Wayne Riddle went back on the 50-metre line with about 2 minutes to go, a very vital kick?
Yes, I thought then it was time to get more than just jittery, but I was jittery for some reason all day today, and none worse than that last 30 minutes. I mean, it was, yeah, it was real heart-stopping stuff.
Peter, just one thing before we let you go. Jim and I talked on air about the South Gambier Football Club overall, Peter, like your junior development program. It's been in place now for a good number of years. Your committee, Keith Dixon, and the people around you, Peter, and you, and I say this, you know, like I say this with all sincerity, one of the best country coaches I've seen, Peter, and obviously a good coach is made better by his committee and about the people around him, and obviously South Gambier got some very, very good people around them.
Yes, that's right, David. I think now for the last 6 or 7 years, we really got back to grassroots. We got discipline into the club. I mean, you can't forget the dark old days of 1990, 91. We didn't win too many games, but by hell, we sorted a few things out, and that started within the club and around the club. Training, our approach to football, the committee, the presidents, you know, the presidents over the past probably 10 years, people like Doug Mullen, Peter Buckingham, Barry Smith, and then also Keith Dixon. I mean, those 4 blokes are still around the club, and that's, I always believe that's a good sign. I mean, it's like the footballers themselves. If they leave you, sometimes they leave you for the wrong reasons, and we've only had a couple leavers probably in the last few years for the wrong reasons. But I think, you know, we've had a lot of players turn over, and a lot of younger players keep coming up, which is terrific, and I hope we can get some young blokes back in there again next year.
Peter Sims, 1997. Peter, I know it's only grand final night. How do you feel about 97?
Yeah, well, it's a hard one, David, because I feel that I might have run my race now, and, you know, I have got other commitments with probably more responsibilities with my work, and, you know, I've got 3 young girls, and I think probably, you know, I'll just have to have a spell for a couple of weeks and then make a decision from there.
Well, Peter, first of all, on behalf of everyone, all the football followers in Western Border League and upper and lower South East Western districts, and particularly from Jimmy and myself, congratulations to you and the South Gambier Football Club. You certainly did your club very proud today. On behalf of everyone, congratulations once again, and let's hope that 1997 will see the Demons back again.
Thanks, David. Thanks, Jim.
Kevin Harris, captain of the grand final premiership side. Kevin, you kicked the first 2 goals, then you kicked the most important one, the last one. How does it feel?
Feels great, Jim. I think we'll be celebrating all night tonight. That was a hard-fought win all day, and in the end, you know, we knew Hamilton, they had been slowing down in the last quarter, and we knew if we can get the first couple, we could go on with it, which we did in the end.
What did Peter Sims say at the 3/4 time, Kevin? You were looking down the barrel, you looked at him.
Well, he just said, fellas, they've been slack over the 4 or 5 weeks. They've been going down after 3/4 time, and we just had to get our game going a bit better at school and a bit more enthusiasm, and we had a go. Nothing to lose, and we got home.
And premiership medal for Kevin Harrison. Personally for you, how much does this mean?
It's a lot. It meant more this year than probably a few of the others after last year. They all count, Jim.
And you're going on, Kev?
Don't know, Jim.
That's why I thought it might be important. Kevin Harris, the captain of the South Gambier Demons, the premiership club for season 1996. He kicked the first 2, then he put the last one through to put the Demons in front. The boy's just sensational.
Thank you, Jimmy.